Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures back to the upside in a big way this morning, right across the board, significantly higher after most investors seem to be digesting some of the more positive outlook that both the U.S. government and global governments are now starting to take when it comes to the coronavirus outbreak. In his daily coronavirus or COVID-19 debriefing at the White House yesterday, U.S. President Trump did say that this coming week could see the worst of both deaths in the U.S. and also confirmed cases coming out of the U.S. as well. So possibly a plateau. We're seeing declining numbers coming out of Europe when it comes to both cases and deaths. So possibly a plateau leading to a little bit of positivity to start the new trading week. We had Asian markets kind of mixed overnight. Europe's higher to start the week as well. Energy stocks back to the downside, interestingly enough, this morning, along with crude oil. About a 4% decline for crude oil futures this morning. And shares of popular video conferencing software Zoom to the downside this morning after catching a downgrade from Credit Suisse. It's Monday, April 6, 2020. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American futures at this point this morning. We might as well just take that off, guys, because that is not working this morning. We have some data issues coming through on the Reuters Icon platform. So yeah, no quote board. Let's just take that down, guys. There we go. Yeah, a bit of a positive look. Those were very red numbers. So all markets right across the board gapping to the upside this morning. The only one, as I mentioned, crude oil futures to the downside, 4% decline in crude futures, despite continued positive talk when it comes to both the Russian and Saudis coming to an agreement with regards to their price fixing and price negotiations and possible cuts. Production cuts coming as well. It's Monday. Let's head over to the desk and say good morning to both Neil and Sean. Lots to get to this morning. It's Airplane Jane standing by as well to kick off the new trading week. We have a whole bunch of names moving around in the pre-market, as I mentioned. Some of them, guys, looking quite positive, which is nice. We mentioned a couple times last week when we had any kind of uptick in the market, it was the tech group that was leading. Once again today, guys, tech stocks off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, you have lots of names off to the races. One of those mornings with just pick and choose what you want to be able to trade today. So it should be a wild and fun one. Just sort of worth noting that you talked about oil. That conference call, OPEC, it's probably going to end up being, it looks like Thursday now, not Monday. Throw in people have concerns about demand and whatnot. So I think that's probably dragging oil down, and everything else, of course, is gaining. Unless you're talking about Zoom, and we'll be looking at that one certainly today. I want to jump into the quick numbers here from Friday at Day Trade the World. This is just going to be the top traders by each individual market. So showing you number one on the board for each one of these markets. CME coming in 35,000. New York, NYSE, they're 27. TSX coming in number 3 spot, 13,000. Someone pulled almost 11,000 out of Germany, and then 10,000 out of London, and then you see NASDAQ there at 9. So look, good numbers still. It's been was a solid week last week, but there wasn't quite as much volatility as we had seen previously. Looking like we might see a little bit more of that today to the upside there, Sean.
Yeah, 3.7% right now, and oil down 4.6%. So we'll see what's going to happen here today, guys. We're very, very excited. On the quote board today here, if you guys are unfamiliar with market on balance indicators, here's a market on open order book for New York stocks. Look at this, Carnival Cruise Lines. We'll talk about them bouncing up to $9. Well, there it goes. Breaking through $9, I should say right now, with a lot of volume too. Nice little bump. Whoa, look at this little bump up here, guys. As you can see, Carnival 885 straight through 9. I would have liked to have that happen at 9:30, but everything's a buy, including Bank of America, Whiting. Aurora Cannabis is in the building as well. So whoa. Look at Carnival right here, guys. Breaks 9 and straight to 925. I've changed it up a little bit. I'm not taking too many pre-market positions, but there goes Carnival Cruise Lines off to the races. So a 1.14 million share buy imbalance seems to want to get this thing going, Brendan.
All We have a number of names, moving to the upside this morning. Some of the airlines also gapping higher. We'll get to that in a second. Here we have our good friend, it's Airplane Jane, standing by to start off the new week. We'll check in with her and see how she's getting ready to approach this new week. Jane, we have a nice slide you just sent us over for the SPY, I guess. The overall market obviously back in positive territory. What are your thoughts to start this new week?
You know what? I am still thinking to be very cautious in this market. Obviously, we have some big moves that are happening, a big gap up. However, it's still to me a sell the pop scenario. 2 weeks ago, we were in this same scenario. We've got the SPY right there. You guys can see. You can see that pink trend line. First, we have that consolidation or distribution box on the left where we were 2 weeks ago. Then last week we were down below, and now we've popped back up and hitting that pink resistance line. We hit that 3 times 2 weeks ago. It looks like a point of selling, and right now it's roughly 258.27 is where that moving average is, and it looks like it's really a sell point, whether that's computers set up to sell there or whether that is just people catching the trend. That is where a lot of selling has happened over not last week but the week before. So keeping that on watch, not confident that we are in an upward swing. All of the news that's coming out, we still have a lot of negative in the economy to deal with. However, the market is going to trade ahead of itself, right? So until we get that actual buying power, the true bottom, still feeling like it's a sell the pop.
Yeah, I mean, we saw all last week, anytime we kind of got a little bit of an uptick in the market, it was quickly sold off. Most of the time it came late in the day, so you'd get a gap to the upside, kind of meet some resistance, and then the sellers step back in the afternoon. So we'll see what happens. I mean, a little bit more positive news coming out of the COVID-19 side of things, with a little bit of a slowing in the numbers coming out of Europe. So maybe some anticipation of possibly a plateau starting to form in both the U.S. and also coming out of Europe. Is there anything specific you want to see to kind of make you a little more confident in the long side?
I'm really looking at Microsoft and Apple, two of the large players in all of the indexes pretty much, minus Russell, and looking for those to really have good, strong bottoms and have that upward move, breaking the moving averages and breaking them with volume. Right now, we've seen, like you said, that it's really been a sell the pop scenario. Today, it's a pop up and potential gap down. We might have a little bit of a rip at open that short sellers will go ahead and sell into, but for the most part, I'm feeling bearish on the day in the fact that we might fill those gaps to the downside. Yes, there will be short squeeze plays for sure, like CCL. I've also got RCL, Royal Caribbean, on there as well to keep on watch, and also Hilton. Hilton had a large short volume, so that might be a nice little squeeze to happen today.
Yeah, it was interesting to see all those travel companies gapping to the upside again this morning, some of the airlines as well. Great stuff, Jane. We'll bring in Neil and Sean here. We'll talk about some more individual names.
Thank you, Brandon.
Hi, Jane. Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for coming on once again. And you hit a sweet spot, obviously, with me, because now we have to talk about Apple. So here we go. Apple, we love that name here on the show. I know you talked about it. The reason why I like it is because obviously it's a leading indicator for the market, or it follows the market, really, really tight beta. You mentioned to me possibly 254 and change today coming if we do get running there. I see a top right here in the pre-market of 251 and change in the bottom of 249. Jane, as I look at a daily chart, of course, of Apple, and we have a lot of wicks here, so apologize that. If we could break above 256, 257, which possibly could even happen today, I think we can get into the 270, 275 range. I'm not so worried about the downside. I think we got a lot of good protection to 240. So with that being said, is there something that we have to look for on the downside? A little number you mentioned, like I said, 254 on the top. But if we're going long, which I think I'm going to be doing here today, tomorrow, maybe even this week, if I'm building a long position, is there a kill spot at the bottom somewhere that you like?
Well, you know, I've been giving you some numbers to watch. I mean, I've got a downward trend area of 230 to look at. If we can hold that potentially and find a bottom there, that might be great. We might be going down even further, 210, even
210. Hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on. Whoa.
Don't say that to him. He doesn't want to hear that.
I'm not talking today.
Okay.
I'm talking about, you know, for the market finding a bottom. Not today.
We know, yeah. I personally don't think, I think that maybe the market bottom's in, but that's hard to call. But the bottom was exactly what you were talking about there. 212 on that epic March, I guess that was 23rd day here, all the way down to 212. Then maybe that was in the pre-market or aftermarket. But yeah, we're bouncing around here. So Microsoft, you did mention another interesting name to me was Square, I guess. And I love Square. I mean, I just recently bought some shares in Square. And of course, it's on the NY. We did have a question there. If you ever see us mark NY here, that's for the New York Stock Exchange. I love a breakout of this 47.50 area on Square, possibly leading us back to where we were. 46.50 was high on Friday, so a dollar higher, 47.50. I know that's one on your list. Do you have any thoughts on Square?
Yeah, if we're able to go ahead and break that 47.50, we might see that squeeze up to the $50 mark. You know, in people's brains, you're looking for that 47.50, $50, 52.50,
right.
55. You're going to look for that round number or 50-cent mark to get in or get out. And so if people are getting in, or people might have that short stops that at $50, hey, if it goes there, I'm going to get out. So we might see that it runs up there with short squeezes. I think a lot of the long plays now are those stocks that were heavily shorted with that large short volume, like Carnival, like Hilton, like the airline stocks. I mean, we just saw that there was major selling in Delta Airlines, right? And now that's going down. So it's when you start to see that some of the airlines are going up while other ones are dropping, that short squeeze, in my opinion, it's more of a short squeeze. It's not a true long-term holding. It's more of a pop, and then they're going to sell into it.
Good look there. Before we get you out of here, I know obviously time is money in these markets. You mentioned Carnival here, and I'm just sort of thinking about that upward squeeze. We just saw it break 9 after sort of basing out. And you look at this 875 top on Friday, basically running away from that this morning. You know, when I look here, you have a massive gap to fill, really nothing until you get, you know, this is even a bit of a tight level here, 10 to 1027, and then it's an even bigger move to the upside, you know, from there. So do you have any particular, when you say, I guess, target areas where you would feel a little more comfortable that the squeeze is slowing down, be thinking about selling these? You did mention selling the pops. What are some of the names that you would look to sell pops, if not today, the rest of the week?
Well, you know, I mean, I'm really looking, like I said, at Microsoft and Apple. If those two do not hold the highs of, you know, in the next 2 to 3 days, I think it's going to go down. So, like, looking at Carnival right now, I think you're right. Like, 990 might be a good target to the upside, and then even all the way up to 11 before we might see it turn back down. It does look like it kind of found a bottom a little bit back there at 785. We had, you know, a full day and a half of consolidation down there. So they might be buying to go ahead, pop it up, and then take it back down further.
Absolutely fantastic look. So Greg in there asking about that. We just gave you Jane's opinion as well as ours. So thank you once again for coming through. We look forward to having you back on in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to have you again. So have a fantastic Monday. Best of luck and stay safe.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. You too, guys. And
Bye.
be safe.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Airplane Jane, ladies and gentlemen. So always interesting. Various, you know, we of course are kind of, you know, scalpers at its, you know, premium, I guess here. Not holding anything overnight. I know Jane will hold things a little more than 1 day sometimes. So some of those targets there, I hope we don't get anywhere near 210 for Apple in the near future, but we could. This market is
buying opportunity, Sean.
Yeah, it's always teetering at any time. But Brendan, why don't we throw it back to you and get on with some of these names?
Yeah, let's get going here, guys. Lots moving around in the pre-market. You guys mentioned some of the travel companies there. Jane was talking about some of the cruise lines. I mean, the entire group back to the upside today, so it will be interesting to watch CCL, RCL, and also Norwegian. Never want to forget about NCLH. MGM kind of leading the casinos to the upside this morning. Let's move over to Tesla here, guys. Jefferies upgrading the stock to buy after the stronger Q1 deliveries number that we saw last week. They also came out and said that they're going to investigate the possibility of designing and manufacturing ventilators using current Model 3 parts that they already have just lying around and obviously manufactured. So Kevin was talking about Tesla looking interesting there, guys. What are we thinking about as far as Tesla today?
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned some numbers in here, Kevin, in the chat. Good look. I was looking at 510, 513, and next level upside is that 530 that we saw. You know, the big fall, that was a bit of the top in the pre-market on Friday. So, you know, if we can bust through there, get a little run in the futures, you do have some significant upside on a 13-ish break. Whether you wanted to have a tighter stop to it, I can't really say. 493 is a bit of a level of support if you wanted to be risking down in a bit of a flush off the open. You think maybe you could catch a bit of a bounce play if we do have a little bit of a sell-off. So I like those price areas as well. 530, it does seem like there'd be a little bit of issue getting through there. Once you do, that could be a big run. I tend to think that might not happen today. So you're looking at that 513 area and then running it in, maybe $10, $15 worth of a win to the next level.
I mean, it just depends on how big of a day this is, guys. I mean, you know, we're up 4% right now, well, close to 4%. So Tesla obviously going to be a name that is going to outperform the market on a day like today. The young guys want to get their money into this name, and obviously them working with the government, getting some ventilators going and things like that, only a positive move. So I do love Tesla, and I love it breaking this 510, which we're probably going to do in the next 10 minutes before we even open, Brendan.
All right, guys, we talked briefly about Zoom video conferencing gapping to the downside this morning in a big way, even with the big move to the upside for the overall market, possibly a little bit of profit taking. It was Credit Suisse downgrading the stock to underperform from neutral, so not even from buy to neutral, going to underperform on Zoom on the downgrade, guys. 11% here. Is this a little bit too much, do you think?
You know what? It would be easy to say that, but when you think about the cascade of news that started on Thursday and is sort of culminating in today with the downgrade, it's not terribly surprising. There was a massive support level down at about $100 where we had some consolidation before running to the upside. So, you know, that it would test that after this news is not an entirely a shock, but 114 is a bit of an interesting pivot point for me. It actually just traded through that, you know, just now, bouncing off of it. But if you look at 114, when it made that bottom at 100, you know, that was a bit of a resistance level for a couple of days. So, you know, I'm eyeballing this right now, and we did have a bounce at 114, 115 twice now, a couple of times in that price range. So I think that's a bit of a breakout play. I would let it break 115 before I actually thought about any kind of a long position, but if it holds below, that's going to be your resistance that you're probably shorting in front of. So Zoom is going to 100% be on the radar today. You know, and as much as it's down 11%, Brendan, doesn't mean it couldn't go further, but it's got to break that 114 to 15 area and hold above before you're confident with any long.
I wrote down 113 on the downside, but that did break already, obviously. So we broke down 113, 114 all the way down, and we made a bottom here at 111.50 or so. So yeah, look, I think this is going to be a negative name, obviously. Zoom was really popular and cool when everybody was looking to call in, but apparently there's some security issues. Neil talked about that a little bit, and there's a lot of alternatives out there. But I still like Zoom, but it's going to be under pressure. It was just such a crazy run that this stock had, guys. So you're going to see some obvious profit taking happening right now. And we're still, as the market continues to bump up here, up 4%. Zoom still under pressure and heading lower, Brendan.
All right, I'll shift over to Luckin Coffee here, guys. A name we were looking at a lot last week. Big time volume again this morning in the pre-market. However, not a huge move, just tons of volume. There was reports of a shareholder class action lawsuit being launched after the news last week of the COO being let go for misconduct. Rival Starbucks catching an upgrade and a price target increase as well today. So the space might be a little bit positive. Sean, obviously a huge mover last week. Luckin Coffee to the downside. Some volume here in the pre-market, but not a lot of movement so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent volume. It's 1.8 million, Brendan, so it's pretty good. We do like that. It's only a $5 name now. We know where this name came from. Actually, if you don't, let me throw it to you. If you're new to the show here, we were trading this one on Friday and Thursday of last week, and you saw this absolute destruction here from $26 all the way down to $5 down here. So that was a big, big move. Recent IPO, of course, up to 50. And yeah, now you're in a little bit of problem here as you're continuing to go down downside, breaking off this VWAP here. This is just a 1 minute chart, so a 550 is up here. That's not a bad spot. You know, we're not so far away. It's actually 560. If we could break above 560 to the top side. I just kind of like these tops here. This is $6, so we come crashing down through $6, go all the way to 576, bounce off it again and retrace, bounce again 592, bounce again 580. So we're getting lower and lower on these highs here. Bang, 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 bang. So maybe we play off this 560 again, short in front of that, because again, lower highs keep being made in Luckin Coffee, Neil. I'm looking to the short side, but we could get a bounce off $5.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. I think the one thing that I don't want to do in Luckin, given how good the volume is just don't play the middle, right? And you mentioned the top end of the range and the bottom. If you like the longs, then just allow it to travel into the bottom end of the range, or really actually take a shot at that top. And whether it's going to be 6 even, you know, who knows? I also, you know, I was looking at that same 6, and it's a ways away from that price. I'd be much more comfortable playing around with the long in front of the bottom, and then maybe you can take some scalps. Otherwise, you're looking to short some pops. You can have tight stops in there if you want to, because the volume is just so, it has been so good, and it looks like it will be again today with 2 million already in the pre-market with 10 minutes to go.
Another one moving around in the pre-market, guys. Uber looking quite positive. In fact, they announced that they've teamed up with Flipkart and will begin deliveries of everyday essentials. So moving outside of even the food deliveries to what they're calling everyday essentials in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore in India. So moving back into the India market, guys, for Uber as far as deliveries of everyday essentials.
Yeah, I mean, Uber, if you have a quick look, I mean, it had that little failure at that 28.50 top for a few sessions, and then it's come back and made, you know, what seems like it would be a bit of a bottom at 22, and we're bouncing off of that now. It's ultimately, you know, when I have a quick look at just last week's session, you know, you look at this sort of pivot area between 24.50 and 25, and I feel like if we bounce up into that, it's probably going to get a little bit choppy. So it wasn't one that was overly on my radar if it's going to end up trading up, just because I needed to travel through that. And, you know, with about $1 from here to the top end of that range, that's actually a good return. I mean, you can still long it maybe in this situation here and get halfway, and you can still make 40, 50 cents, that kind of a thing. I just think it'll be choppy if it gets upside. That being said, if there is a bit of a pullback, sell, and we're within that range or below it, then Uber suddenly becomes a little bit attractive to me as a selling opportunity. It wasn't number one on my radar today, but I am watching to see what happens if it gets 50 cents to 70 or 80 cents higher.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not super interested in Uber. I don't think that Flipkart story is big enough for me to be looking at it. Obviously, it will follow the market. We've been loving Uber recently, so I like it through $25. I love, Brendan, you mentioned quickly about Luckin Coffee and Starbucks catching an upgrade. I love the Starbucks upgrade here. They've been a great little stock off the bottom. We already know about that, making bottoms, really great bottoms here, just protecting this $50 mark. So it gave a lot of traders an opportunity to gather some longs before now. Heading back to the upside in the 65, 66 range. So I just did want to mention that I do love this name through 65.50. Unfortunately, we're going to be pushing that right now. So if we can fall back down here into the 70s, we'll take it. I'll take a small little break through 50, but looks like it's going to happen right before the market opens. So if you see me get into Starbucks, it's going to be small for now, and then as the market opens and we can work this trade a little bit, we'll see if this upgrade means anything. And we are going to take Starbucks long today.
All right, guys, let's discuss the airlines here a bit. There's a whole bunch of news in the entire group, but I want to focus on Boeing here real quickly. They're set to open higher after they said this morning that they're extending the Seattle area production shutdown until further notice, so kind of leaving that door open for the time being. Going forward, they also said that there was rumors floating around that some, not all, but some of the 737 MAX jets that are currently grounded could possibly be converted to cargo planes that might get them back in the air a little bit sooner. Most of this group is either flat or a little bit negative. Boeing, though, guys, kind of standing out on the positive side today.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and you get that bottom at that 120 that we got last week, and running from that, you also got consolidation on Friday, making a nice little bottom at 124, 125-ish, and you know, we're basically right above that high from the afternoon on Friday, 131 or so, but more importantly, we're kind of getting to this little area, which a couple of sessions before was a massive pivot, and it took 133.75 or so to the upside, so you know, Boeing's got some levels that if we take out on a run up, it could get very, very interesting. I sort of came in today thinking, yeah, well, look at what's going on with Delta and JetBlue, and those could be some opportunities to play some weakness in what's a strong market today. And, Boeing, maybe there's an upside play almost right here to sort of go to the other end of that. My first look, however, was looking at a JetBlue or maybe even a Delta, and Delta has a few levels that I'm pretty interested in here. Whether it's the absolute bottom at that 1915, but we've got to break through. You got 20, you've got 20, you got 2060 as well. Those are some obvious levels to the downside. If this one's going to sell more, and we're only down 1% right now, but it just came off of 2280, that little run up here in the pre-market, and it's starting to come back in. So what I want to see happen is a failure to test that high, and if we fail to break through, it's going to be a short for me, but you have to have some tight stops. As James was mentioning, there's a lot of squeezing that can go on, heavily shorted names here, so make sure you stick to your stops, but there's a ways away from any support levels on something like a Delta.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're just into Starbucks there right now. We are going to go in to American Airlines here. And yeah, Greg asking on the chat what I think about them. Look, I think most of them are going to be buys just because we're so low in these names and we just could get taken off the top. I mean, it's just a little bit of a short squeeze play here. If you can look here, American Airlines, just as an example here, Greg. Look, I mean, if this isn't beat down, I mean, it tried to rally, gets to 16, and then fails all last week. And now we're going to see some upside push a little bit here through $10. Obviously, we like that one. Look at this bottom. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, we did wick down as low as 970, 980. I mean, if you're going to go long now, even if you take 1,000 shares, whatever you want, $9 is the breaking point here. So you're not even that far away. I think it's well worth the risk and the reward here on American Airlines. We did get ticked into, let me show you my Starbucks trade. It does not break 50, but I put a bid in there in the 30s. I told you we would start to get in a little bit. So we are now long small here on Starbucks, and you'll see us get in, Neil and I, if we do see this little indicator, the up arrow. So right now I'll put that little note at the bottom, buy arrow. There we go. So you can see what's happening. We are getting some longs here. Every buy order will be blue, short sell will be purple, and sell order will be red. But only 3 minutes to go, Brendan. Give us one more.
Yeah, one more to go here, guys. Co-Diagnostics, a name we talk about all the time when it comes to the COVID-19 type stocks or related stocks, up 28% this morning. They did finally receive emergency FDA approval for their COVID-19 tests. So that is now going to be put into the marketplace. So big gap to the upside. Already kind of fading off here. I was just trying to get my shorts finding borrows before I came over here. But 1075 up to 11, obvious resistance here. But looks like we're breaking to the downside already, guys. Got to go get some shorts.
Yeah, as you mentioned it, I'm literally going through here, but 4.5 cents is what I just paid to get some locates. I was looking at this level as we speak, this 1060. You also had 11 that you could have had a little bit earlier. I don't necessarily love these ones in the pre-market as much as I used to, but I'm going to see if I can't jump in right here once I get these little locates. That 1060 area is the level that I'm going to be looking at on that Codex. Of course, there's one other one. I see a couple of you guys mentioning this in the chat. IMMU. This is up 125%. You know what? If you did some profit taking on any of those shorts, especially when it broke that 23, fantastic. I didn't catch the name, but I did see someone in the chat with a bit of a short there and then catching it out there at 21. I wanted to see it retest this level here, and I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. I wanted to see it retest this 2050 and then hopefully fail before rolling over. It's actually going to test a bit higher at 22. Now I need to see a little bit more weakness than I would have liked to be able to have something off of the open. The other stock that we're going to watch going into this open is going to be that Tesla through 510 to 513. So that's firmly on the radar. But just got some shares there in Codex, CODX at 1050. We'll work this one. You got 1060. You've got $11. There's a couple levels you can play from. But just jumped in relatively cheap shorts there, Sean.
Yeah, and we just got a boom in Starbucks. We'll see if we can't wait down here. We're long 65.37 right now. So it's already in the money, a quick 30 cents. So we will hit a temporary confetti right now because, yes, Starbucks, Valeria, I see you posting that right there. And already a 43 penny winner for Starbucks. So we'll wait to see if we can't take some off the top here. And we are getting out right now. So you can see NASDAQ 65.70. We just got hit there for a little bit of our shares. So we'll see here Starbucks to the upside now before the market opens, guys. Only a minute and a half. So let's get going here and see what we can do on some of these names. Starbucks 64.70. Wouldn't mind getting long if it comes back in here. Microsoft also looking like it wants to take out. It just did take out that top. We wanted to go long there. We didn't. I need to reevaluate possibly going in a little stronger here in the pre-market. Sometimes you get these crazy wicks up 4% today. Only a minute to go, guys.
Yeah, and just looking back at IMMU, big flush. It just failed off that 22 area down towards this little bottom. Look, 1950. You can see here is where it bounced. It was a $3 bounce, so big move. Just keep in mind, this came from 26 bucks in the top of the pre-market and 940 all the way at the bottom. So just watch out. I do think 1950 is a good break. I want to see it test up that 22 even. That's where I now have a stop. I want to try shorting off of that if we get an opportunity. I just added to Codex, but with 25 seconds to go till the open here, the other stop we got to watch here is that Tesla, which is brimming towards that 513 mark. I do believe, I'm not sure who we have on the bell. I'm going to turn around. I'm not sure who is there, but we got about just under 10 seconds to go. It is going to be Lucas. Here comes that countdown. Market is open. We have one position. I have one position on. Sean's got some Starbucks. Watching a lot of names here, guys.
Yeah, so big winner already.
Here
Starbucks,
we go.
guys.
5, 4, 3,
let's go. Hit this
2,
bell open.
and
Let's get
1.
this day
Market
started,
is open. Let's get this party started, guys.
All right, here we go. So yeah, Starbucks straight to the upside. We don't need to talk about that. It's a big time winner right now for us on Starbucks. We are long 65.55 right now. So a quick little dollar winner here for Starbucks. So we'll floss that one off as we just keep going. Here we go. Let's go Starbucks. Long 65.60 right now. And bang, bang, bang. Just keep getting these ones out. We are open now on the New York and the NASDAQ stock exchange.
Yeah, we'll quickly floss it off too because that goes up and Codex immediately goes downside. We get that 1050 add. We take some out, just a third of our position off in front of 10 even, but here comes that 10 even screaming to the downside. So Codex, good retracement short. We do like that one. Note failure on Tesla there at 513. We got to 513.50 all the way back down. Let's see what happens on a retest. I'm going to take some more shares out of this Codex in front of that 10 even mark. I do like the opportunity to quickly take some scalps off in case there's a bit of a pullback allowing me to jump back in. I'd love to see it retest 1050 to 1070 and catch a bit of a reload, but already a nice winner to the short side and watching Tesla very, very closely.
Yeah, ZM as well. We can have a quick look at that. It looks like this one wants to head southbound as well, breaking through $12. We'll see if that one comes. There's a big seller here.
Yeah,
obviously,
SSR, remember.
This is SSR, right? So you got to follow this thing down all the way. But we're going to break through 11 and change. We're just going to watch that one. And there goes Starbucks, guys. Once again, we catapult our day to start it off right here with a beautiful win. Bang, 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 in 3 times and out a whole bunch to the top. So we're already nicely in the money here today. Starbucks long 65.60 and nothing but upside promise here as we go. What a win right here for Starbucks. Let's start this day right, guys.
Yeah, great look over there on Starbucks. Busting through the top end of the pre-market, there was a Carnival, CCL, through that 940, turning around here at 950. So let's see if we can't get a retest of that level. We talk about squeezes. I'd love to see it fail to get anywhere back to this 920, 930 mark, and then you're more confident. But I'm looking at Codex here. If it can't take out 10, I might consider taking the rest of these shares out, looking for a bit of a pop opportunity. Tesla, however, we wanted that break. Unfortunately, you're going to see it fade back in down to 508 right now. And Kevin, I know you were talking about Virgin. It did make a massive move to 1380 there, all the way back down into its pre-market range as well. So it's showing a bit of a weakness along with Tesla after that little pop. Futures holding exactly where they were at the open. So lots of activity. This IMMU about to jump in as it's faded back below 20 even, Sean.
Yeah, 160.05 here on Microsoft. We'll see if that one wants to keep going. If it doesn't, obviously we will fade out a little bit here on Microsoft, but we're not in right now. We're just going to wait to see if we can take out 160 here to the top side on Microsoft. The only position I have right now, of course, is that Starbucks. So here we go. We'll get punched in here as soon as 160 breaks on Softy, and there we go. So now you can see by this little indicator, we let Microsoft drop all the way down to 159.50 before taking this long. So let's see what we can do. We've got to break through this 160.30. If we can do that, we will add more shares, basically. I mean, we're in for one unit right now at 160 even here on, it's 160.05 on Microsoft. Yeah, and there was a break on Luckin at 530. Could not get these shares, I'll tell you. Liquidity is good, but it is dying. Here comes 5 even. 528 was that bottom that got taken out. We wanted to play that bottom. We did miss the opportunity off the open, but here comes 5 even on Luckin. It got as low as 350, so there's still room to go to the downside. I'm going to have a look at that break, but we can also think about at least scalping it with the ridiculous volume that it's going to be doing for a few pennies here and there in front of the 5 before it goes. So gonna get that order ready to go. Never a guarantee that you're able to get some liquidity on those breaks, but we're gonna give it our best shot here on Luckin. Yeah, 158. I'm just looking here to see how low can we go in case we are wrong here on Microsoft. And it looks like, 158. 50 or so should be a good little look for us if this continues to go down. We're averaging a little bit, but look at these futures, guys, crashing back down. Shout out to Airplane Jane there, talking about we could be a sell side here, sell the pop. It looks like that's what's happening right now. As here goes Microsoft to the downside. We had to watch out for this 158 break. Give it to us, Brendan.
Wayfair, guys, coming back to the downside as well. Really positive, obviously, 40% to the upside. One we didn't get to in the pre-market, but they came out this morning and said they're still going to meet their first quarter target that they put out last quarter. So nice look here for Wayfair, although reversing with the market, guys.
I think everything's reversing.
I mean, everything's reversing. I'm looking at that IMMU. Tried to get some shares in. New target is going to be maybe 1950 to 20. Forget about that 22 as a bit of an out. If it breaks 19, I'm now going to jump into the short once again. I just feel like there's a lot of room for this to go, and I want to join this party if we can get some shares in here. Tesla's about to get to 500, and I know that's an even level. I know you guys like it, but I did mention pre-market. I wanted to look at this one to the downside at 494 is the next level. So let's see what happens. We could bounce off 500 even. I'd much prefer a test of that 494. Keep an eye on Carnival. Carnival Cruise here just holding 925 to 935 right now. It did bounce off that 950. It's managing to hold at least, closer to the top end of the range. So, it's not flushing, given the fact it's up 10%, the market's coming down a little bit here. Carnival not really participating in that move, but what is giving us an opportunity is going to be Codex. We're going to load back in to this one. It's going to give us, hopefully, some shares on a bit of a pop here. We can see if we can't get them in front of that 1050. Of course, it's this area here that we're concerned with, 1050 all the way up to 1070. That's our target range, so we'll add in again here. We've already had one nice win in this name, the only stock that I've traded so far, waiting to see what happens at Tesla bottom, and I'm looking at that Carnival Cruise now working its way back up to that 950 top.
Yep, exactly. We're waiting for 65 to break here on Starbucks as well. We still got a nice little long there trying to work that one. One trade that we do have that I just got in right now is this AAL. So we are short AAL now. We talked about that in the pre-market. I liked it a little long, but now this fade is obviously happening. So here we go. We're short 37s, and it's at 33. So right now we'll see if AAL does want to come back down and test this 9 even spot. That could be coming through. We do have Microsoft to the long side. That did give us a little bit of a bounce off of our long, but still not good enough. We are long right now, 159.80, so we're 80 cents out on Microsoft. This one could be a problem. We're going to wait to see, though, like I said, 158.50 or so maybe to the downside. But right now, this is the biggest problem for us. Microsoft right now. Starbucks long, AAL short, Microsoft long.
Yeah, I'm going to flush out on Codex, but not necessarily because it was a horrible position. It's just we ticked this one out with a stop order as I was looking at some other names. I don't know that stop is the way you want to play these, but it has broken through, so you do want to be out of this name and watch it retest 11 even. The first shot was a win. The second shot's going to be a loss. We'll reevaluate this one in just a little bit. But for now, I'm looking heavily at Carnival and Tesla. The market's holding up at this 3.5%. Tesla just bounced off of that 500 even area, so it's going to get pretty interesting here if we can get anywhere of a retracement back into that 509, 510-ish area. I think that's a spot where you almost have to take a shot jumping in on a sell because it's such a tight amount of risk, whether it's $3 or so. That's really not that much. If you get anything in that 8 or 9 range, you're just not risking a heck of a lot, and it's obviously a decent level to work off of.
So we got flushed out of our Microsoft there, breaking that 158.60. But look at American Airlines here going downward, guys. We are short this one. And again, it's just about your risk manager, right? $9.37, and pushing lower here, $9.27, $9.26. So we're going to cover a little bit here at 26. There it goes, flushing down. So hit the cash register all over the place for AAL. Not so much for Microsoft here. We're going to look back at that one. Maybe we'll just get out of our Starbucks. This is where we're long, 65.50. It's just bouncing around right here. I will take another long 65.60 if that can come, but I do want to try to get back into Microsoft at some point, guys.
Good look. Brennan, what do you got for us, buddy?
That IMMU, guys, nice little move to the downside here. This is positive news on this company, though. One of their top candidates for drugs being halted, or a phase 3 trial being halted for efficacy reasons. So looks positive as far as I can tell, but give you a nice little break there under that 1980, all the way down to 18 already for IMMU. guys.
But it's a gap retracement play, Brendan. Don't be talking about positive news when I just shorted this thing at 75 here. It's about to break 18 even. I was trying to short it at 20, didn't get it. I just shorted at 18.75. Bit of a buyer here holding it up. But there we go, right through that 18. And again, you hear that saying that I love to give, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's something that we like to not do too often. So I do like this 18 area. If we can channel through that one more time, we'll see if we can't take it off for close to $1 winner or so on this IMMU. Ultimately, we did talk about this short a couple of times to you guys and maybe could have got a better entry myself, but it is what it is. You catch what you're able to catch. I did not get that break at 20 even on the way back in. It was a tricky one to engage into.
Yeah, we're just chilling out here a little bit. I'll get a little bit out of our Starbucks here. And look at AAL though, guys. This is the big win right now, all the way down. We're crashing down 22 pennies. It's a $9 name. I mean, it breaks this low here of 9.37, and we just keep getting out on the way down. We haven't gotten out any lately, but 9.11, a decent spot here. If we bring this back, this is that bottom of the day here, 9.09. So right now, we throw around a little bit of cash here because what we lost on Microsoft, we make right back here with AAL. There is some size here at 9.10, 9.11, so we may look to get some out here on this sharp move down. It was 9.75 earlier, so let's not, again, make sure we take some profits out there. We'll take some out there at 19 and see if we can't hold the rest. But for now, it's been a big day. Just one mix up there with Microsoft. Let's get that money back.
Yeah, you might remember we talked a bit about Zoom and talked about that 114 to 115 area. We flush off the open, just down $5, test 108.50, bounce all the way back into this 114 range. So look, you got a target area. Going to take a shot in front of it. We do have 115 at the top. That's going to be my out. It's sort of a hard stop. The market is holding up 3.5%. It's worth noting, and Zoom is down 11%. So you don't want this one to get carried away, fill in that gap, and you get blown out. So you're looking for an average price. At least I'm looking for an average price in and around 114 or so. We just started this position at 113.64. My stop is going to be at 115. So you're risking a buck, maybe more with slippage, any kind of a retracement back towards that low. Maybe that 111 that was a key level before. That gives you a $2 to $3 worth of a win. We'll be very, very happy to take that off.
Yeah, we're looking at AAL breaking through 912. That would be pretty nice if that does happen. That's been the low of this day here. If we can get through 909, then look out below. We'll see what happens with $9 even. Apple's about to come in here, 250.40. We'll try a test and a long again here on this market move upside. You can see bouncing off 25.60 or so. So if we reevaluate and come back down to that level, then we'll relook at some of these shorts. But I do like Apple to the long side here. We're already up to that 3.5%. Basically mimicking the market. So if that wants to go, that would be fantastic. But I do need to make sure about this AAL. I don't want to let this profit go away. We're out of about 30%, or sorry, only have about 30% of our trade left. Got some out in the low nines here, but now, as I said, it looks like it bounced off that 910, Neil.
Yeah, worth a look there. And Zoom going to give you maybe that second entry point. I need to break that 114, get into your target range before I add to this position here. You have a range that you're comfortable with, working shares in. This is what we're going to make sure we do. I don't want to get too greedy. I know sometimes I'll expand things a little bit in Zoom and get into trouble. So we want to make sure we have the price that we like. I talked about 114-ish. That's all I want to risk on a 115 break, because we said if you're going to go long, it was going to be through that 115 even area. So let's watch what happens. Here's the test. We've given it one shot. We missed the first trade to the short side. We now have the second trade short, looking for that 115 break, which could happen right now. Brennan, what do you got, buddy?
Retailers showing some strength, guys. Kohl's moving higher here, up was 15%. There we go, 16% to the upside. Macy's also following along. No real significant news in the retail space, but some of these having a good day so far as well, guys.
All right.
And
Macy's,
just
Kohl's.
missed the trick. I mean, I was able to get out at 115.20. My long does not get us in there on Zoom, so we do get out of the short. We do not get the long position. It's already at 116, so there's your break. Come and gone already on Zoom. Bounce off 500 on Tesla. Worth watching here, Sean.
Okay, so we got Apple long and Microsoft long, so hoping for some longs here in this market. We'll see if we can hold this 25.70 or so, 25.75. Looking for a nice little long spot here as, it looks like Microsoft wants to go. We'll check back on Apple. We are long Apple 250.38 right now as well, so we'll dump some of those shares. Just getting some off as we continue to go to the top side here. We could be a big time mover here in the market if it wants to go. So we have Apple long right here. You can see this, guys, 250.30, and Microsoft long as well, 158.79. So both trades right now about 30-40 cents in.
And quick look at Luckin, which just pulled back off 525, 528, 530. That was the actual break of the low. Then we worked all the way down through 5 even. So we're going to use that 528 to 530 as now the top end of the range. And like I said, I don't love playing the middle on something like Luckin, so we're going to try to avoid doing that. We'll see if we can't short in front of that 530 mark. Brendan, what do you got for us?
A little bit messy off the open here, but Peloton starting to show a little bit of strength as well, guys. 29 here, a bit of a pivot, was a resistance on Friday afternoon. Trying right now to hold above 29, but Peloton starting to go as well.
Okay.
Actually, Peloton was one that we didn't mention this in pre-market, but I really like this one. You look at this sort of hump that we had back over here in late February, 29.50 to 29.75. That's a bit of a breakout point here. We've come all the way off the bottom. We're now retesting it. So look for potential breakout. You look at the high today, 29.80, right at the top end of that range. That's a huge breakout potential. Want to make sure that I have a stop ready to go if it does take out that high. So add Peloton to that list. I'm watching IMMU head back to the upside. And again, when you chase something down, you can want $1, you can want $2, you can want $3, all you want. But if you miss this short when it breaks that 20, that 20 even area and don't get it till 1875, you got to take this one out at the bottom. So we only get 60 cents in the trade, but we missed about 60 to 80 cents of that move by where we got into the short. Now that it's coming back up, I want to see it retest that 20.50 area, maybe 20 even. If it does that, we'll jump back into the short trade. Again, with this type of retracement, you can play the trend on shorting these pops until you see a significant area break. Hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so yeah, good analysis there. We've been getting out of our Apple as we are long here. You see this little break. I gave it to you guys, 250.37, out at the top, 83. We're still there, guys. So this is a nice little big-time winner. So we hit the slap shot. You don't get hockey, but you get winners regardless. 50-cent winner right now on Apple, guys. We have Starbucks on board. This is long from right here. This is a 17, 18-cent winner. Microsoft is kind of lagging. We did dump a lot of our Microsoft. We got out, we got in, 158.70. Look, we tried to hold this long and got dumped out right there, but when it retakes this 158.75, we take it again, and now we're looking, wow, here we go, kaboom, hit the siren, guys. 50, 70-cent winner right now on Microsoft. Go over to Apple. This is a 60-cent winner now. We're coming to the high side right now, guys. Watch to see this market. If we can get up back up here to 25.80, that would be nice. We'll see if that can take it out. Right now, everything almost out. Our AAL has been a big-time trade for us as well on the short side, but right now, made absolutely everything back that we lost on that Microsoft. So here we go, guys, right back to the top side. You don't stay away from stocks that you love. You go back to them. They will give you some missteps, but here we go, Microsoft and Apple, both 60-cent winners right now.
Having a quick look at JP Morgan, which did have a breakout through a key level. We didn't talk about the banks in the pre-market, but 89 was a good breakout point on JPM. You can sort of see what happened when we took this out to the upside. 88 got taken out. Big move up through 90 even, now pulling back to this 89 level that I'm working off of. He had one wick down to 88, 85 or so. That's going to be a good stop for us here, but working into position now in JP Morgan and watching Tesla as it gets towards that 510, 513 mark. Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
Another one in the COVID-19 area, guys. Meso on the NASDAQ. MESO up 28% still. Just broke the bottom here from the pre-market at 540. This is another one that has a drug currently, a drug that's already being produced that could be a possible treatment for COVID-19, guys.
Nice. And here goes Apple, guys. More to the top, guys. More. So right now we are long 25, 250, 30, and we got $1 right now. So we hit the cowbell. Nice little dollar winner here on Apple. Whoops, clicked the wrong button there. Dollar winner on Apple, 63 cents right now on Microsoft. We keep going to the top side. And AAL, my only short, still working, guys. We are short $9.37. Thank you for joining the show. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook, come over to YouTube. As I notice, the chat is bumping off here in YouTube. Wow, there goes Apple, big time mover, guys. Apple and Microsoft, hello.
I'm with you, Chicago, 1807 there. Good look. You're talking about JP Morgan. I just worked into that one on a bit of a consolidation, but I want to get back to IMMU as a heavy mover here, 13 million, rolling over here at that 1950 area. So I'm going to jump back in, see if we can't go into the short one more time here, in front of that little top that we just made. So we just made a pop here at 1940 or so. 1950 is the stop. I want to be adding to this position if we can, but we didn't get any consolidation there. Immediately in the money, 20 cents a second we get into this short. Oh, look, I want to retest test of that low, see if you can't once again get 60 cents to a buck, that kind of a scalp. We're shorting pops here on IMMU, basically the same entry price, but there goes JP Morgan, through that 89.30 mark. We only got the one entry at 89.34. I want to get more in front of 89 even if we get an opportunity before this one eventually goes. Keep in mind, ES 2630 is that big level. We're about 50 handles away from it, so getting further push to the upside. Watch out for 2630 massive level on the ES. That's the S&P 500 futures. Brendan, what do you got?
Guys, crude extending declines, I should say, to the downside, now down more than 5% on the day. Have a look at XOM here, about to take the top off as far as pre-market levels go. 40.20, 40.25 about to come into play. Up now 2.25% for XOM, guys.
And guys, it's chicken dinner winner everywhere. The biggest winner right now, guys. $1.70 here on Apple. We go long off this break, $2.50 and change. And now we're at $2.52. So if you can see the scoreboard there down below. Actually, we can review it, Robbie. Why don't we do that? We'll go to position 2 here and update our scoreboard. Show you guys what we have on. These are our 3 positions right here. There it comes. Here it goes. Okay, AAL short 9.37. As I look, 9 cents in the money. Apple, $1.70 in the money. That's a long. Microsoft, $1.10 in the money. Let's go. Going to address these positions. Let's find some more. Hit us up on the chat, guys.
Just took the first out there, JP Morgan, on that little break. Again, you don't get an ad when it tests the top end of that consolidation. It doesn't really pull back far enough to give you that, but that's okay. Just means it went in the money right away. We'll floss that one off. Gonna hang on to the rest here. You want to see a test of that high. We got through 90 right off of the open and tested all the way up to 90.75. So you can get a retest of that top and make over $1 winner on this one without even getting there. So we're gonna hang on to the rest of these shares. Still willing to add at this bottom. If we can get anything between 89 even, 89.20 or so, we're going to jump back into this one. Tesla, man, it just can't seem to get any higher. Stalling out over and over again, and I will jump to this. We do want to have a look at this. It's stalled out without getting close to that 510 mark that I was looking for that short at. I wasn't willing to short it at 506. I wanted to short it at 508, 509 in front of that 510 target, but Tesla showing a little bit of weakness. Only the 2 positions on right now. IMMU, that one's still working in the money for us, only about 30 cents or so. JP Morgan looking for an add, but that's back in the money, 25 cents as well. So a couple of positions, one long, one short, still looking for that Tesla entry.
Yeah, there we go. And our idea is to go long here, guys. Just keep paying off. It's a $2 winner now in Apple, and it's $1.50 in Microsoft. We are getting out of our AAL. You can see that if this market wants to do this like we thought today, up a big 4%, we're going to hold on to our Apple. Apple now, wow, Apple, 250 just keeps going, guys. Look where we are, long right down here. So we'll hit our favorite stock logo in a second. Well, actually, my favorite one is Tesla, so we'll lie about that one. But Apple keeps on pushing. $2.25 winner right now, up nearly 5%. Look at this chart on this futures, Neil. Just straight to the upside. The market ripped. $3 almost now on Apple as we just keep going topside. Let's throw it to Valeria, and I'll see about getting out of some of these crazy stocks.
Hello everyone, I hope you had a great weekend and happy Monday. Welcome everyone who just joined us. If you're passionate about trading, you want to learn how to trade, and if you want to stay updated with the latest news in the financial world, you're at the right place in the right time. Please hit the thumbs up, support a trading community, and subscribe for our channel. We are live every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you watch us from Facebook, like our video and share, guys. And of course, feel free to leave comments, ask questions on the chat. Let's keep it active. Back to traders.
All right, all right.
Thank you very much, Valeria. We just got our target out there on JP Morgan, so we mentioned this one. Trying to retest that high. You catch that consolidation here, you get about half our position in, as it doesn't give you a further entry point. You can see my order sort of sitting down here in front of 89 even. We can leave that one in because I still like that area for a potential bounce in case we slide off that 2600 on the ES that we just got to. So you take off, you get 30-cent win there, you take off about 80 or 90 cents. I did mention, of course, you got about $1.40 from where we were to that top end of the range, not looking for it to take that top out. I do like the fact that we got past that 90 even area. So JP Morgan's going to remain along for me on any kind of a pullback. Just IMMU to the short side. That's in the money, 40, 50 cents, just sort of depending on where it is with that spread at any given moment. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Another little energy name, guys. Crude again, still looking quite weak, but Western Midstream here up. It was 15% a couple seconds ago, but a little bit of a pullback here. We just took out Friday's highs. We're through 350, 365. Western Midstream doing some volume as well today, guys.
Western Midstream.
Western
Okay, we
Midstream.
like that one. I just tweeted out this Apple chart. How could we not? We just take some out there at 253.25 off of this. So that's a nice little $3 winner right there. So yes, we hit the swish there. Anyone watching that 2K stuff there on TV? I don't know. I was watching. It wasn't that great. We will see about that later on. 158.79. We did get out of some of our Apple or our Microsoft to the top side again. So crying baby no more here on Microsoft as we make it all back. We take this long and then bang, 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 straight to the top side here. Keep going up. And AAL, that one's now turned against us. So we'll get out of this if it breaks above this 955 level. We have very small amount of shares short at 937, guys.
Thanks a lot there, Sean. Good looks. And Luck and Coffee, you're talking about all the stocks that are moving to the upside here. Not this one. And we continue to slide down. You get break after break. And as good as the volume is, it's just been ridiculously tricky. Had to stop in, unable to get some shares. I already canceled my order as it broke through 5. Again, we're headed to 460. You go to the daily chart. I'm just going to quickly show you. This is the absolute carnage that you have seen on this name. And it got as low as it was about 380, 383, 370-ish area. It feels like we're about to test that one more time. So, Luck and getting absolutely slaughtered. Pullback was good initially. I'm looking for anything like that to be able to get into some shares here. It's going to be SSR, short sell restricted. You got to catch some kind of a pop to be able to get into this puppy, but I think it's going to be worth it if we can catch anything back in that 5 range.
Well, we are still going upside, guys. We still have on our Microsoft and our Apple, but we are light. We did drop the majority of those shares. And of course, our Starbucks is now right back to the top. You guys can see where we were buying this, bang, 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 out all the way up here. It had a problem going, so we did dump our last 10% right here, but obviously we could have held that as well. But Starbucks straight to the upside, and our boy Apple just keeps going as well. This is now more than a $3 winner, $3.20 right here. So hopefully you guys had that, and if you did, then this is what's going to happen to your account. You're blowing up that money in a good way. You're actually not blowing up your money. You're adding to your money. So actually, maybe we do this. It's falling down here on Apple today. So far so good as this market is looking. 2,500 straight in the face. If we can break that, let's look at some more aggressive names as well, like a Tesla, like a Netflix, NFLX right here. Right here, a nice little price of $375. So we'll see this. Wow, look at this move here off that big break. You're now bouncing off of 374. Let's have a closer look at this one, guys.
Yeah, you just mentioned Tesla, Sean, and ultimately we were talking about a key level there. 513 was that one we liked for a breakout long. It failed at that price, 513.50. Right off of the open. So for me, it's going to give you an opportunity on this little retracement. You have 2,600 on the ES there. You have 2,630, which is a massive level. I do like the opportunity to take a quick little short in front. If 513 breaks, we said there's nothing till 530. A couple of you guys were looking at that on the chart. So it is a long play through that price. I'm always going to take a shot when I get tight stops or a good risk-reward ratio to jump into that short with a reversal play. So that's what we're doing here with Tesla. Brendan, what do you have, buddy?
Guys, Zoom a little bit thinly traded so far, but check this out. Held 117 there on that little pullback, just breaking above pre-market highs as we speak. Was down significantly all the way back to 118. We were talking about 110 in the pre-market, guys.
Yes, I do remember that one.
I mean, big move in Zoom. We did mention that pivot area through 115. I was able to get out. Look, tight stop short here. So, good risk to reward, and then missing that entry point. We did give that one to you. Need to be able to get that in there. We should have been more aggressive with our stop order. I think that would have ensured us some shares. We are pulling back a little bit in the futures here as we tried to get through that 2,600 area on the ES. So, we did work into the first bit of this Tesla position at 510.50, 513.50 is the actual high. That's what we really have to pay attention to.
We're looking at any names, guys, here. Too slow to follow. Yeah. Okay, we'll slow it down a little bit for you guys. We are short here. AAL, we are short at 937. So I've already made 71 trades, like 71 different fills. So yeah, it will seem a little bit busy for a lot of you traders that are just joining us. But welcome to the show. If it is your first time, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Get used to us because we do trade a little bit fast. And there goes Apple. We drop it. We put a 50-cent trail on that to get out of our last 10%. And yeah, we turned bulls on this Apple trade, and we go long only down here. One trade today, get it out for about 50 cents, the majority, I guess not 80, 90 cents, the majority of the trade, then let the last third run all the way up here and bang, bang, and now bang out of that trade. So far today, everything's a winner for us. Microsoft, check the profits below if it's your first time. Neil Nye, the digits will run through there. Tesla, Microsoft, all the names that we've traded. It'll show you our total P&L down there on profit per share. So So it should be good. But right now we are up, and it seems like it's going well for us today. I'm looking, one other name I want to get to before I throw it back to you is CCL, 955, but it's, that was just a high there. It's up 10%. So I was looking to see if that took that out. It didn't, and now we're faded back down to 920.
We got that reversal in Tesla, of course, through that 513 area, so we did jump in. We talked about nothing really there till 530. Here's the thing. We're in the money about $2.5, almost $3 on this play, but it's worth noting the futures have not gone through that 2600, and you're also staring 7850 in the face on the NASDAQ. You got 2630 also coming into play. So, as much as I would love to see us test this 530, we're probably going to run into some resistance before we get there in the overall market. So you might be thinking about taking this one off for a scalp trade and looking for a re-entry point. 520-ish or so seems like a reasonable opportunity for me to go grab this one. Tesla was showing some weakness before. I don't want this to stall out on me. We've already got a nice winner here, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to take the scalp win in front of 520, look for a re-entry. As I get over to IMMU, this one was a great one, re-entry point here. You're just scalping in this range. I talked about 1950 was the new top for me. We jump in front of the short there. We're out in front of 1850, so we're taking these 40, 50 cent scalps while maintaining a core position. So I'm going to do that until either we get a big flush or we break through that 1950 area to the upside. So IMMU still going to be playing it. The bigger moves are done at least in the short term. I don't think this is done in terms of volatility longer term, but you're probably looking at some scalp trades until we get a bigger move to the upside.
Wow, luck in coffee. I know you're talking about that a little bit. That's just crashing. Okay, BAC, quick time. We'll take it off quickly here for 4 cents up to the upside. And here it goes, BAC ripping. We did take Tesla along there, Neil, breaking through 520. So we'll see what that wants to do as the market now exploding to the upside. Let's go Tesla here long right now, see if we can't get some out.
My goodness, this lucking is almost impossible. Like, pullbacks are so shallow. We're about to get down to that low. We're talking about 380. We're now 40, 50 pennies away from it. 4 even is the next mark. You just got to be able to catch whatever you can. Forget about shorting pops. It's almost just got to get a little more aggressive than we've been doing here in lucking, because I've missed this entire move to the downside despite being all over this when it took out 5 for the second time. Lucking getting crushed 20% down as the market goes screaming to the upside.
519.90 here on Tesla as well. Yeah, we're just looking to see what's going on. BAC is a long position that we have through 2146. We like that as the market's trying to get to 26. I said 2,500 before. Excuse me, 2,600 to the top side there on BAC. Let's just see, on the market. Let's see if BAC can't hold that 2150. That would be pretty nice. We are long here, 2146. American Airlines, BAC, and Tesla, the positions that we did have. Tesla did not break 520, so we get in and out. We're still holding half of this Tesla spot. Probably get out if it breaks down below 517, 518.
If Tesla comes back down, that 510 to 513 we're using before as a sort of a resistance point to the upside, that becomes a base of operations to go back into the long position. So we scalped out of that long here, but I'm looking for a pullback into that 513 range to be able to jump back in. So I can sort of go ahead and maybe have some orders ready to go, locked and loaded in the middle of that range, just in case we do get a flush in there. I want to make sure we do get involved back into the Tesla long. I am also looking at JP Morgan, looking to test that top as well. JP got as high as 90, 65 or so. It was 90.80 that was the actual high, 90.75, 90.80. I want to see if we can't take that top off. It's so strong here and consolidating at the top as well. So JP Morgan continues to be a very, very strong name for us. And Luckin, we're going to try to get into this one if we can, but I mean, it's just screaming to the downside. The first pullback we're looking at here towards 450. I will see if I can jump into some shares on that play, but the SSR, it's really making it very tricky to get into this one. 10 o'clock, guys. That means it's time for Happening Now with Brennan. What a wild morning.
Yeah, wild indeed. To the upside, nice positive numbers right across the board. If we have a look at North American markets here after the first 30 minutes, yeah, look at this. Positive top to bottom here. Better part of 5% here almost for the S&P 500. Same story for the Dow, the NASDAQ as well, 4.5% to the upside, extending those gains that we were seeing in the pre-market. Russell here, small cap, That's interesting, 5.3%. So small caps almost leading the way here today. Here in Toronto, the TSX up 4%. A lot of the banks doing quite well. We also have some cannabis names back in positive territory today. Down in Brazil, nice day for them as well. 6% to the upside, back above 74,000 for the BOVESPA. That was a bit of a resistance area all last week. We'll have a look at a couple of names here in Toronto doing quite nicely. TD Bank here, huge move, guys, 4.3% to the upside. Just broke this little pivot here. It was consolidating underneath $58. Looks like we're making highs on the day for TD Bank, leading the way here for the TSX. BNS, not so much, well, not to the highs yet, but trying also to make new highs on the day. One more here, WEED. CGC, obviously, if you want to trade it down in the U.S., gapping to the upside, better part of 4% in positive territory, kind of consolidating around 1950. This one definitely the most positive of the group, but nicely positive right across the board, guys, to start the new week. Back over to you.
All right, yeah, nice to see some of these names coming through, that's for sure. But one name that's not coming through right now that we'll have to wait to see on here looks to be Tesla. I mean, this one there it goes, just coming down through 513. So good thing we were able to get out of some of that when we punched long 520. It didn't work. We get out, and now we'll wait to see what Tesla does again as it breaks through that 514. So that's not a good spot for us. But BAC continues to be a good spot. We're long 21.46 right now. Nice little 10-cent winner on that name. So Tesla to the downside, but BAC to the top side.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you guys, it wasn't necessarily SSR luck, and we actually had to go get some locates in this one to finally get some shorts. So it's another pullback. This is like the third time it is trying to pull back, and this is through 450. We'll give this one a little bit of room, but I'm just looking for additional retests of that bottom. We did miss a lot of this opportunity, of course, when it flushed through 5 even. I am looking at Tesla back into that 513 range that we like, 510 to 513. So you're gonna see me jump into position probably shortly here in Tesla as we get into this target area. Any kind of consolidation is good. Maybe you'll catch it on the way back up. Otherwise, I am waiting in the middle of this range. So we're either going to catch it on the way down in the middle of the range, or we're going to get a break back to the upside if we get any consolidation. 513 was that key level. I know some of you guys were mentioning it, Kevin in the chat there. We're all looking at basically the same thing. Luckin looks like it's going to continue to go south side here. So 449 short in front of 450. We can start working this one out as we hopefully retest that bottom. Took a while to get into this party, but we're on board, and we'll get the disco ball action going because I'm finally in the Luckin game short side.
Okay, yeah, I should be in Luckin soon as well. We talked about that breaking $5. That was a missed opportunity there. 48.80 here. We did talk about Square this morning as well, and I do like Square. Look at this big move off of that 47 level all the way up here to 48.80. So I think we'll take a little long position here if we can get above 48.80, which looks like we may do that right now. Just a couple hundred shares breaking through here on Square. If we can get this one, I do like it. Breaking through 48.80 right now on Square. We'll take a couple hundred shares, like I said, and then even some more if it does break above $49. But I do like Square here. 48.80, it's the high of the day. If it breaks it, let's go a little bit long if we can.
Couple of legs out here on Luckin. Will we go winner chicken dinner here just as we're scalping this one out in front of that 450. It's every single pullback that we're going to look to work off of. With the volume at 26 million, you got to be active. You got to take advantage of it. That's what we're going to do here. We did get that entry into Tesla. We talked about the 510 to 513 range over and over and over again as it slipped in to that range. We picked it up literally in the middle. 511.50. There's really nothing scientific about it. We just picked the middle of the range, and that's where we got the bid. I also would have liked it on any kind of consolidation in that price range and then catching it on the way up as it exited that target area. So if we break back above 513, all systems go. We're a couple of dollars in the money on this one. I'm looking for about 50%. We got to the top here at that 520 and rejected. So if we can get anywhere in that 517, 18 range, that's going to be a nice little scalp trade for us. So for me, in and out, nimbly in Tesla, if we're not going to break that 2600, that 2630 on the ES, those key levels, if we're back below 26, I don't love hanging on to the long for the rest of my life here. So let's see if we can't get that scalp win on Tesla. Good entry here.
Yeah, don't hold on to anything for too long, especially the rest of your life there. We're going to break above $49. We take that Square position as well. So let's see if that one can go to the top side. I guess 49 bucks if we'll break that, that'd be nice. We're also in that Tesla at 14, so we'll wait to see if that one's going upside. Here we go. Come on, 49 bucks. We are long right now, 48.80 on Square. So if this can break above 49, then yeah, why not? Let's see if we can see $50 today. We break this down Square. Nice little move off the bottom. Wow, it's already $3+ from the bottom here. So we'll see if Square wants to keep on going to the top side. Like I said, a couple hundred shares here. Let's see if it'll work for us. Square right now, just 10 pennies in the money. But again, we're going to see if it breaks through $49. We've dumped about, I don't know, about 15% here as we're struggling to break through 49 bucks.
Yeah, and just having a look at Zoom coming back in, it got to 119 before turning around, and now we're headed southbound. So retracement on in Zoom is you get a rejection through that level in the futures there, 2600. We're coming back southbound. So you see a few things pull back. If you like them long, this is going to be your opportunity. And we're in and out of luck in there. So the first half, we actually take a win from 450 down to 440 or so, and then we're going to get back out. There's plenty of opportunity to get in and out of that stock given its range, but now we're looking at Zoom back into that pivot area, that 114 to 115. That was the area that we liked. We're going to zoom back into it right here. I'm going to look for the bounce long play similar to what we did in Tesla on the pullback. We'll try the same thing in Zoom, 114 to 115.
Yeah, and here we go. Square coming down a little bit here. We'll use this 48 area maybe as an out if we have to on Zoom, but 48.50 or so. We did take a little bit of an average long into this spot right now, but right now we're a little bit of trouble with this Square long here, breaking through 48. We did take out a little bit here, 49, but we are ready for Brendan. What's up, bud?
Another little therapeutics company, guys. Menlo Therapeutics down 50%, better part of 50% anyways. They had a cancer drug that was in a late stage trial that failed to meet end goals. So MNLO, not a good look today, guys.
MNLO, certainly not a good look, definitely. Sort of goes without saying on that. But I want to quickly jump back to IMMU. We kind of got away from this one a little bit. It is still holding that tight range that we talked about, so it hasn't broken above that 20 even mark. It has managed to hold this, but I don't love these stocks when it gets too tight here. And ultimately, when you have $26 to $18 is the actual range, massive, massive range, up 100%. You're looking for a breakout of that. It hasn't happened yet, so we're going to sort of calm down, take a step back on IMMU. Well, one position on, that's going to be Tesla. We talked about the range that we like. It's either going to break 510 to the downside, so we're only risking about $1.50 in slippage on this one, or we're going to get this break that we have here to the upside, get 50% back to the top and take a quick scalp. So that's the structure of this trade. You're risking 1.5 plus slippage to make 5. And what do we just do? We made 5. So we'll give that little disco trade off there. The short that we tried was a small loss. A couple of longs we've now scalped off on Tesla using the level that we identified pre-market. You got to come in, got to do your work. This is what it's all about. I know a couple of guys in the chat here agreed with that same target range. It was obvious when we looked at the chart here. So love that on Tesla. We're not done with that story.
No, yeah, let's keep going on Tesla. I think we can get back to 520, so let's wait to see if that can be the case. We are dumping a little bit of our BAC here as it failed basically at this 2150 level, so that's okay. We're not falling in a hole. We're still going to be up on BAC, but it does look like it wants to fail a little bit. We do have some bid here, but as the market goes, so does BAC, so we'll wait to see here. If it doesn't want to take this 2600 off on the futures, you did see we get as high as 2604. That caused some chaos there for the longs. Now we're going to fade back down here. So if you're holding a short, you may have a nice little trade here because we're not holding this 2600. Watch out for this break, guys. 2591 as a possible break back down to the downside. So here we go, guys. Another name, Chewy, $35. If there's any other names you want, I know I've sort of been not looking at the chat here, but Tesla, Amazon, yeah, we'll look at that, Greg. But yeah, PCNG, also another name we'll have a quick look at.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's a good look. I know a stock that we don't always cover here, but certainly worth that look. I know some people have looked at Virgin Galactic today. I'm going to jump over and just give you this idea here. 1380 was the top. You get this opening wick here right to that 1380 top, all the way back down to the pre-market area, pre-market consolidation area, 13 even, and then right back screaming towards that top. So you made a lower high here at 1372. It looks like it's trying to do the same thing. And if you've been following this show, you know that on up days, I tend to find these opportunities to try and get these scalp shorts into something like a Virgin Galactic. Yes, it looks strong, but you got this 1380 here. It's putting in a lower high. We're right at that 2600 area. I do like this one to at least test the short in this range. You're only risking about 15 cents plus slippage to get a pullback all the way into VWAP. It's 2 or 3 times that. I'll take a shot shorting here in Virgin Galactic and see if we can't make this one work.
We also talked about taking CCL to the top side, so it does break that 955. Obviously, should have been getting some more down here, 930 in change, but we are long CCL now, $9.55. Now we're in the 60 range, so if we get through this 60, a big little spot, we'll 62, 63, there we go, 65, 67. Nice little runner here in CCL, so turn that frown upside down and we get a home run right now on Carnival. Hopefully you guys were able to take that 10 pennies at least right there. We are long Carnival Cruise Lines, $9.56 to the upside, long Square, long Tesla, long BAC, short AAL, and we are ready now for Brendan. What's up, Brendan?
Hey guys, yeah, we'll have a look at some upgrades and downgrades today. Some interesting moves on this board. So far this morning, Intel, the big winner so far on this side, 6% to the upside for Intel. Southwest, we were mentioning that one, the entire airline group positive on the day now, but Southwest, nice reversal there, 1.9% on the day. Walgreens, eBay on this side. Starbucks over here, but we should maybe make a column in the middle for ones that catch both an upgrade and a downgrade. So Starbucks, yeah, you can see the move here, 4.8% to the upside. MKM Partners upgrading the stock and also raising the price target. JP Morgan then coming in with the downgrade. So still positive on the day for Starbucks. American Airlines 1.2%, Spotify, and Zoom, we mentioned 8.5% still for Zoom to the downside today. Let's have a look at a couple of these. This is Southwest. Yeah, we had a big time reversal off the top there right at the open from 32 back to 30. We're kind of in the middle now, hugging this 31, so a little bit choppy, but still in positive territory. Here Spotify got flushed from 123 all the way to 116.5. We got back to 120.5. Good spot to re-up if you were thinking short here, and now back to about 117. So thinly traded, but Spotify, guys, giving you all kinds of opportunities so far. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. And just jumped over, picked up some locates in not Smile Direct. What am I talking about? Virgin Galactic, they're actually pretty cheap, costing just under a cent a share for us here. But Luckin, we also jumped into the short. And again, we consolidate that 450. You get a pop through, fails at 460, jumps back in. So we grab the same short here at 51 this time. See if we can't get that rollover. And once again, you're going to be scalping a lot of this, given it's done 30 million worth of shares. If you have direct market access, this is just the type of trade that's open to you to be able to get in and out aggressively, maybe only taking 5-10 cents at a time, and maybe you can hold a core position for a bit of a bigger win, but you want to take advantage of the fact that it's doing so much liquidity. So for me, I will do both things at the same time, like to walk and chew gum. We'll scalp some off here for a 5-cent win, which we just got. Floss that one off, look to work back in while maintaining a core position short while each of these stair-step levels tries to hold. So 460 holds, we'll maintain a short position. Otherwise, we're going to scalp in 5 cents at a time, play with some house money.
Yeah, house money is always a good way to play. That is for sure. Look at CCL, guys. This is a big runner for me right now. CCL long 956. So we're at 970. So nice little long here off breaking that top. We're going to see what happens now. Future's still going to the top side. We still have this Tesla long chilling out here at 513.70. So there it is. A nice little big move up in Tesla. Maybe we'll see if we can't get a little bit off there as what is going on here? I don't know if this is a bad quote, but 515.70 seems to want to hold here. We'll see about going to the top side. Getting some off. There it is. Bang. Nice little win there in Tesla. So we take some longs here. Long, long, long. We'll see if it wants to keep going to the top side, though. Big little move up to 515. We made sure we cashed some of that out there in Tesla. 515.61 off of our long 513.50. Let's wait to see if Tesla can't come back to 520. I don't know. We'll wait to see these futures.
Good look there. I just got into my first shares there, and Virgin Galactic short there at 13.63. You'll see a pop up on the board. So a couple of short positions on right now. We will update the position board for the first time just to give you guys another look to see what we're working with here. And we were below that 2600 mark, below that 2630 on the ES, and I'm short a couple of names. Luckin here at 451. It's basically at that price. Already scalped off half of that, but Virgin 1363 short, 80 is that top. We're going to get out of that one if it breaks. Want to be adding to it in the 70 range if we get an opportunity, so we'll take the position board back off. I want to revisit Tesla. That's the chart I have up right now. essentially get what's almost a perfect trade here. And again, you go by the structure of what we're looking at before, that 510 to 513 area, you pick it off in the middle and get bottom wick on this entry, and then almost get top wick out, just looking at about a 50% move from that entry to that top end that we made. So, simple structured trade sometimes works in these volatile markets where there's not as much liquidity on some of these names. But look, Tesla, I want to revisit this price over and over again. It's worth noting, however, we fail at 520, fail at a higher low here. If we retest at that 510 and break it, you're probably looking at another 500 area retest. And if you like the long, you could wait for some shares and leave yourself some opportunity if it gets down there, especially if we roll over having failed at 2600. But time right now to jump over to Brennan. What do you have, bud?
RH, guys, formerly Restoration Hardware, moving higher today, up about 11%. Looking like we might want to take this top off. A little bit thinly traded, but they came out announcing a whole bunch of job cuts and cost reductions to help cope with the COVID-19 outbreak, guys. But RH moving higher, guys.
Yeah, we love Restoration Hardware, guys. I just had to tweet this out because it doesn't get much better. I mean, it does with that Apple trade, but CCL breaking 955 and going straight to the top. We just get out there 984. We still have a few of these shares left, but what a big trade that is. AAL, we are also long right here, 955. That's at 970. BAC, this was a problem, so we got out. Still very, very small there. But Tesla's starting to go a little bit. 514 now. It was getting higher there. Look at Square, though. We picked the bottom. We're back into this name to the long side. We believe in Square. We pick the bottoms up here, and I'll zoom in just a little bit. More pickups on the bottom, 47.80. Now we're back to 48.50. So Square finally worth a floss off, as right now we're making everything back, guys. CCL, wow, still to the top. Can we break through $10? That might be nice. Everything running right now. I'll put up some of the positions I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 longs. So here we go. We'll just put them up for you on this board once again. We don't have to go over them, but this is what they are. AAL, BAC, CCL, Square, and Tesla. And we have a record number of viewers today. Thank you so much, guys. Keep this one going, as the profits are rolling. Let's go. We're breaking through 2,600 as we speak, guys.
Yeah, quick look. I see you guys mentioning ATOS. It is running a little bit. My concern with this name is we're up 35% here, and you're getting some consolidation at the top. It's a decent looking setup. 575,000 shares. So the volume is really not that large. Scalability is not going to be at the top end of the range here. Obviously, if you're trading an IMMU or trading a Codex, those are moving as well with a little bit more liquidity. It's worth watching that 150 mark if it can take that one out. It did fail when it broke there the first time, getting up to 164 and coming back in. I'm also looking at this 138 to 140 range to the bottom here. If it doesn't get its second legs and getting juice to the upside, the retracement plays can be good on these just as well as some people that have taken that long look to run to the exit at the same time. So if this one doesn't pick up in volume or get a break of either one of those levels, it's going to be hands off for me, but we'll put it on the quote board, add it to the list, and see if we can't get a break and an opportunity on ATOS. That's over on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, guys, and we hit the siren and we hit the cash because it's flying everywhere. We just take out 20 more cents on AAL. Longs, we're all the way up here now. American Airlines, that's a beautiful long. We're going to see, because here comes Tesla. We're long 513.30 right now. This is a $4 winner. I'm noticing, obviously, that we've bounced off of this a couple times now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 517 and change. We'll see about taking some off here, maybe ahead of this number. We are long 513.50 here, as the futures want to keep going to the top side, breaking the top now. Tesla having a big problem, though. I want to put an order maybe right here, guys. Why not? 517, 516 and change here. See if we can't floss off another $3. Square, yes, sir. That is back to the upside as well, and we keep loving that one. Just took some out there off of these 47.85s long. I'm trading a lot of big caps, which will be normal for me as we go. Neil trades a few more small caps as well, but the one who reviews them is Brendan Wickens. This is a great topic, guys. Pay attention. Small cap recap.
Yeah, busy Monday, guys. Lots of opportunities regardless of what kind of stocks you're looking at. Let's talk about a couple of small caps that we were mentioning in the pre-market, doing significant volume, kind of gapping higher. This was the main one, Co-Diagnostics here, CODX, still up about 19% on the day. We were talking about how this thing was kind of grinding into the open to the downside. We kind of got back below 1050, looking like it was going to give you that flush off of the open, and sure enough, that was better part of 50 to 60 cents you could have caught there right at at the open, depending on where you got in. We got this retrace all the way back up to 11. I had to step away from the desk, so threw a stop above 11 for half. Unfortunately, that of course got hit, but look at where we are now, all the way back to 950. So really good chance to re-up versus that 11 once we got back below it, and then it gave you a move from 11 all the way down to 950. So great opportunity there on CODX, depending on how you approach that one today. The other one was IMMU. Positive news on this one. This thing still, what is it, 107%, was significantly higher, obviously 25 up here. Got back to $20 in a straight line, so $5 move to the downside. We're consolidating now underneath this $20. This thing's very thin, kind of moving dollars at a time, so be careful with it. But I was really hoping we'd get a little bit of a tighter test to 20 there to try and test the short. But look at that, kind of breaking down as we are talking right now. But IMMU, two different stories. They had a cancer drug that came in positive. They have another drug that they make that could be possible treatment for COVID-19. So positive news, but looks like it's kind of grinding to the downside. Guys, back over to you.
Thanks a lot there, Brennan. And look in coffee, look, the short just keeps on working out for you. And we mentioned what you might want to be doing if you have the opportunity to do that. We've been shorting this 450 area after missing that massive flush off the open. You get 5-10 cent scalps all the way while maintaining a core position. So look, if it's going to break this 460, we'll be out. We'll allow it to take the stair step and maybe work to the upside and then just walk away. However, as long as it's going to give us these opportunities over and over again, we're just going to keep taking them. You take 5, you take 10, you get back in, you do the same thing, rinse and repeat as long as it wants to work. I was just having a quick look at JetBlue, which screamed to the upside. Opening range break here at 790. It continues to work up here as it's been a very, very strong stock after making a bit of a bottom. Worth noting, look at the higher low it's put in on the daily chart. So there's just so much room for this one to come back in. It's under a lot of pressure, but it's up 10% on the day. And you can see the massive gap that it has to fill, heavily shorted as well. So, watch out for that squeeze that we're talking about this morning with its airplane Jane pre-market. So this is what it's all about. JetBlue making another leg to the upside.
Yeah, JetBlue's a great little name there, and thanks for people on the chat to provide that to us. We did talk here about Tesla. Square's a big winner right now, 70 cents. Tesla right now is at $1.50, but how many times do I have to see this bounce off that 517 before I do anything about it? And right now, we didn't get out of our full position there. We only got out of a little bit at 515. Again, that's a $2 winner. We were waiting for more. I didn't think we could come back up here, but we've already broken the high of the day here on the futures, 2605. So I would have thought that would have sparked Tesla back to the upside. So we'll wait around here again and see if we can't get some out on another pop to the top side there. Carnival tests $10, doesn't want to break, so we get the majority out at 99. So we'll wait to see now as this one's coming back in a little bit. Carnival Cruise Lines to the upside still. $9.56. AAL, we get some out at 9.77. Same kind of fade as well, bouncing off $10. So we may have to work AAL out a little bit as well and see about getting out of some of that right now. But right now, yeah, we're 5 longs, all of which are nicely in the money. As here comes Tesla, still, we got to break through that 515. We're long 513.50 right now. So even if we take 515, still not a horrible spot. Would like to get a lot more though on this name. I may just take it out and reevaluate because it's having a problem here, guys.
Yeah, having a quick look at Peloton, a name that we haven't traded yet, but look at this sort of lower high it's put in. I've seen this party before on Peloton on relatively strong days to the upside, and you look at this high, that 29.50 or so pre-market. That's what after the open. That's what I'm looking for on a break. You can take shorts within the range and scalp it a little bit, but it's just so thinly traded that I think the bigger upside is going to be that breakout potential. So looking at 29.50, we talked about this one on the daily chart as well, looking pretty good for a breakout potentially through that $29.80 to $30 area. And once you get through there, there's not a lot between that and another 10% up. Peloton, people are staying at home. You've obviously seen a nice little bounce in this name. I'm now looking at 29.50 to the long trade in Peloton. We're going to go put that stop order in. We're getting a bit of a pullback in JP Morgan, which we've been waiting for, back into that 90 even. Might get a nice little re-entry point there. If we can get anything around 89.50 to 89.80, I think we're going to jump into that one. So going to get that stop in JP Morgan. Also going to get that stop in Peloton.
Yeah, JP Morgan right at 90. Great little look there, Neil. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay, we did get out there 514.80 right there on Tesla. You could see that below. So that's an explosion there. It's only $1.50, but I'm glad to get it because it's been struggling making its way back up. So we're going to we still have a third left on. We're going to wait to see if we can get Tesla back to a positive trade for yours truly here as we're going. Square, we've dumped some of this one. It doesn't seem to want to get going. We still are long 70 cents in the money now on Square. BAC falls down, so we're out of that name, but we are ready for Brendan once again.
Back to small cap world here. EVRI, every holdings 41% to the upside. Nice look here from 260 all the way up to 350. No significant news. There were some director dispositions as far as shares are concerned, but otherwise really positive day for EVRI, guys.
Okay, we'll have a look there. Yeah, the market falling down a little bit here, guys. So we're going to see about getting out some of this AAL right now. If we can get it out here in the 60s, we still are long. I don't know if there was. It's probably not news there, but not a big move. I guess, you know what, we're so used to different moves now. This is only an 8-handle drop. It's called 6 handles all the way from 2600, 2606. That's about 8, yeah, to 2598 right now. So a lot of these names coming back down a bit. We did get flushed out of our Tesla, though, as I see Neil.
I'm going to fall in a hole. You do not leave stop orders in. Once you've taken profit, we're longing in that range, of course, over and over again, and we had a stop in that was our cover for longs in that 510 to 513 range. So we're going to end up paying spread as we get in and out of Tesla with an accidental short position. But you don't hang on to those trades. That's why I'm going to show you here. You just get in, you just get out. You're going to pay some spread, but you got to walk away from it. You don't want to turn it into a bigger losing trade. We're up on the stock. It's been my number one stock today. You want it to continue to be that, but you don't want something you didn't mean to get. That's what it's all about. But JP Morgan, we did talk about a dip below that that 90 even area. That's exactly what we've gotten here. We're holding the top end of the range. JP's come back in almost $1.50. This is where I want to start building back into that long. We're working between a range of 88.80 to 89.30 earlier. Going to be a little bit more aggressive here. That target area is now going to be our stop area. So I want that 18.80 to be our stop. I want to work into position, see if we can't get something in the 89.30 like we had last time as an average price. So look for a rebound in JP Morgan. The ES, that's S&P 500 futures, holding the top end right around that 2600 as we're continuously looking like we want to test that top at 2630. Haven't quite done it yet, but we haven't rolled over either. So you want to watch out for some of those longs. Make sure you're getting good prices, because if we do roll back over, you want to make sure you got some support below you. It would be a big failure at that 2600 if it happens.
Yep, we're still looking, yeah, exactly. I mean, 2600 there is bouncing off right now on these S&P 500. So, yeah, I'm using this VWAP here of about 90 on JPM. So I'm not going to get in until we get back there. But I do know what Neil's talking about here. We do have this little bottom in the consolidation of what's happened here at the open. So if JP Morgan can come right back into this area, great little long opportunities ahead of 89. Or if you think this market, and again, we go back and forth here. Remember, we're day traders. We're prop firm. We work for Day Trade the World. Check that out on their website. But we don't hold anything overnight. So we can flip our decisions just as fast as we make them. So if you are looking for a short 88.90 maybe on JPM, I do like that one. And I know it because our Bank of America has fallen down. We tried a Bank of America long. Now it failed, breaking back down below 21.
Yeah, I'm also looking at Codex now, which I know Brennan talked about this one on our small cap recap. I had a couple of shorts here. It was a pre-market short that worked on the initial open flush. You get that nice little sell action. I love having that one on, so when the market opens, I take advantage. But the second short, it breaks through the high. Now we're getting a pullback right into that same target range, that same 1050 that we're using before. Just worth noting, when it really flushed down after that little failure through 11, that next leg was about 1060 or so. So it's more of a target area, 1050 to 1060 instead of a hard stop at 1050. But I think you can start working back into some Codex shorts, looking to continue the trend until it actually breaks. So I'm going to jump in, see if we can't get some shares in the 1020 to 1040 range or so in front of that price area.
Okay, and I'm just looking back at Square here as well. 47.88 is our long, and I kind of want to dump it, but I was actually looking to get a little more aggressive if we get back up here. 48.60 Square, still a nice little name, up 10+% today off an upgrade. So I do like Square long time here if it can get going. But again, we are at a little bit of a mercy here of the futures. Thank you once again, guys. I see you, Jack Green there, ATOS. Let's check that out. ATOS here, probably on the NASDAQ. We'll check that out quickly at $1.45. 600,000 shares. Yeah, possibly, man. I do like this little break here. 150. Not only do I love that it's a 50 level, but yeah, up 40%. Nice little break of 150 ATOS. I think I'll join you on that one, Jack. This looks like a nice little trade with a base here of 137 ATOS. I like the break through 150, but we do have a special guest, Neil, and it is Mr. Mendel from the OTC Markets. Jeff, how are you today?
Hey guys, good morning. I was actually trying to bring up Super Mario on the screen behind me, but it wasn't working out. But maybe next week we'll give it a shot. But I'll jump right into things. Obviously, since we're talking Mario, Nintendo is up a couple percent here today. But some of the more active names, TCEHY, obviously, always one of our big movers. That's up 3%. Another one that I keep mentioning, YDY, is up 4% again. It's been bouncing around all over the place. A typical day, for the past couple of weeks has been at least a 5% movement in any direction. Then GBTC up strong over the weekend. It's up trading at about 780, which is up around 4%. But I don't know if you guys have seen anything. I'll shoot it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at GBTC here myself. Volume pretty good at 1.8 million. It's not a gigantic range, but certainly the volume's definitely good enough for a trade here. I mean, the key thing I think is going to be liquidity as always. That's what we're talking about, and we always mention when you come on here OTCX, and I didn't make this up. Biggest source of liquidity on the offer. There's like a 30,000 share order there. So if you want to be able to scale up, if you want to be able to trade like you would a normal equity, when I say normal, as day traders or as swing traders, you're looking for regular trade on those ATSs and be able to get in and out exactly when you want in a timely fashion. This is what you got to do here. So I mean, right here on 788, 30,000 shares available to you on OTCX, and really that's the best source of liquidity, and right now the best bid as well. So if you're jumping over and trading GBTC, or as you mentioned there, Tencent I think is going to be another good one, or even as you mentioned Nintendo, some of those ADRs can be really good. It's all about finding that liquidity and making sure you can access it, Jeff.
Oh, exactly. And so actually, since we're talking about OTCX, I'd like to mention that for the guys who are at Day Trade the World, you guys are now hitting our highest tier for adding liquidity, on executed liquidity on the exchange too. So what that means is, and as you're probably well aware, exchanges like to incentivize traders for providing liquidity and for posting that bidder offer out there so people can see it. So now, like I said, Day Trade the World is now receiving that highest tier on OTCX. We're glad to have you guys there, and just keep that in mind when you're routing in some of these names.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll be there.
Yeah, we love trading the OTCX markets. And Jeff, you also have I want to direct people over to your website as well. There's great market activity there. That's what I like to check out, because some of the names, again, will be sub-dollar, so on and so forth. So a lot of it's not on the notional value of the trade, but it's on the number of trades. So that's what I like to search and sort through your website. I want to direct everybody to otcmarkets.com. It's a great resource for anybody looking for names to trade. And I want to thank you once again for checking in. You're talking about Super Mario. Are there any video games you're playing right now? Anything like that you're doing to pass the time, Jeff?
Super Mario is one of them, definitely. I also brought back Zelda too.
Ooh,
love
wow.
it.
Okay.
Is that
because of Link?
Kind of
is that because of Link?
It's funny enough, Link happens to be the destination name on your platform.
There we go.
That's why.
There we go.
A little bit of tie to Zelda for OTCX, boys.
Take it way back. I like the original Zelda, obviously, but I'm a little older. I know that's what it's all about. But thank you again for your time, Jeff. If you see anything popping up in terms of volume or access, incredible liquidity or more trades, let us know and come right back on, buddy.
Hey guys, I've been watching the show on YouTube. So if any traders want to see any type of alerts or anything, just pop it into that YouTube channel, and we'll see what we can do, and we can get you some live updates throughout the day. But we're working on it, and we're trying to get some more filters out there in these names so they can pop up on your radar a little easier.
Impressive.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Once again, Monday morning, love having you on here. Pop in the chat, guys. You have questions about the OTC or any of the pink sheet stocks, do jump in there. Jeff is going to be monitoring that chat, so why not? Thanks once again, Jeff. We're going to get back into the markets here, but we'll see you back later, maybe another time.
Thank you, Jeff, my friend.
Keep it up, guys. Thanks again.
Stay safe. Thanks. Okay, there we go. Jeff Mendel. Yeah, great look, he's been probably here the most out of all of our guests. We want to say thank you to Jeff for continuously supporting the show. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, and I have an OTCX. I don't know if you can see that. There's an OTCX coffee tumbler thing. So thank you to Jeff for that as well, as I spill some coffee.
Yeah, and there's the break on that ACOS. Tricky one to get into. We did mention that wanted it only if it broke 150.
Okay.
There goes 150, 20-cent move. Good look there. I see you, Jack, on that chart. Good look on that trade. Brendan, what do you got?
I know little real estate trust. We've been seeing these things flying around all over the place over the past couple of weeks. TRTX, the flavor of the day today, 40% still. But look at the move off the highs here. It tested $4 a couple of times. Was halted right off the bat here for an additional information request. We're all the way back to 350, guys, for TRTX.
A lot of these names, falling down. TRTX, we will have a check of that one. Starbucks, we loved it. We got out, and thank God we did. We captured all of our profits. It's still a pretty top stock for myself, but look at Starbucks, guys, dropping all the way back down, now only up 3%. It's funny, the market is still very strong, but a lot of these aggressive names now coming back in and pulling back just a little bit. I do note a Starbucks bottom here in the pre-market is around the 64.60 level. Maybe a chance to pick some up here to defend this. But wow, we are turning around to the sell side here. Look at JPM.
I'm flushing that one down the toilet just now. That's why we just hit the key. The next level here is at 88 where this all started. So I didn't think we'd maybe get back here so quickly. I only have one position left on. It's going to be that Codex that we jumped into. I talked about the 1040 to 1060 range. We only got one entry at the bottom here, 1015. I wanted to be adding at better prices. But if 10 even goes on Codex, you might see me jump in here on a bit of a flush and a break down instead of waiting for a move to the upside. So we'll play it both ways. If we get a 10 even break, we'll add to position that way. Otherwise, we're looking for a pullback into our target area to get more shares of Codex to the short side.
Yeah, and we are short JPM now as well on this big move down here. $91. I did talk about defending this 89 and change level. We didn't do that. We actually waited for it to break down below here. And 88.90, I guess, was that low. For some reason, we have 60s right now. So not sure what happened there. It must have been a big little spike down, but we did get triggered in. We were looking at 88.90. I wish we were short there. But no, we're short 64 right now. So as long as the market falls down, we should be okay with this. We're out of everything else. Very light on CCL off this long 956. You see we did get out there. If it breaks through 50, we'll be out of that one. And our square, we are out, but we are jumping right now back over to this name as it's right on VWAP, bouncing around here. I do not mind a long square here if this market does rebound, but I don't want to go long when pretty much my biggest risk spot right now is in JP Morgan to the short side. So I do need this market to fall and hold this 2600 to the downside.
Yeah, and just having a look at that TRTX, of course, that Brendan mentioned, you get a retracement all the way back into the open price right now, and it looks like it does want to retest it. The initial breakout was through 325. It got about 80 cents or so, 90 cents, sorry, before turning around rather heavily on decent volume here at 2.7 million, but I want to see if we can hold. And once we hold it, I will take one shot at that 325 area. I'm also jumping in and out of some shares, of course, in Luckin, which continues to play this, 440 to 460 game. If it breaks 460, and I kind of mentioned this a couple of times as we've been moving in and out of the stock, if it breaks at 460, you're going to give up on this little scalp trade and maybe look at a bit of a long breakout. So that's going to be what we do here, shorting anywhere in the 450 to 455 range. But when it breaks 460, that's going to be a breakout long. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
Name we've looked at many times on the show, guys, IntelliSat here. In New York up 18% still, but look at this reversal as well. Got all the way up here to 140 almost and then got sold hard. Big time volume coming in back to the downside. One of their directors on their board stepped aside today, so they're actively searching for another one. This one, if you go out to the daily time frame, has just been crushed over the past couple of months, all the way down to 125 now for IntelliSat, guys.
IntelliSat. Okay, we just took square long. Let's see if we can get going back above 48. We'll see if that one's going to fall through. Square long, JP Morgan short is a little dicey, so we'll hit the siren to be alert for this one. We got to watch all of our stops as square coming back to the top side. We do got to watch this 47.57, sorry, as a bottom. We don't want to let this break back down below 47.50. Could be a slippery slope here. Don't like being long one and short the other, but here we go. We do have that on. Square to the long side, JP Morgan the short.
And Zoom just took out high of day there, 119. It's on a break towards 120 even as we speak. So Zoom, another bounce to the upside. Bottom to top, a $12 move almost, of 11.5 bucks from the bottom to the top here. Massive, massive move. At some point, I am going to look to fade this. We're still down 7% on Zoom. So what I'm looking for at this point would be any kind of failure at one of these highs, some consolidation lower, and then I'll jump into a short retracement trade. So Zoom is back on the radar, guys. Of course, it was that massive breakthrough, that 115 pivot that we talked about earlier. I only got out of my short and missed that long, but we did give that one to you for about $4 or $5 worth of an upside trade. Now we're looking to maybe fade this one if we can get that chance. I did jump into that Codex. We got 10.17 to the short side. Watch out for luck in at 460. We're shorting in front, but I want to break out to the long side. We've been working that short the entire time, scalping off 5-10 cents at a time. Now we're looking to see if it can't break 460 and grab a bit of a long trade. It's also about 1040. And I see that big screen up there working, and then we're going to do our sector watch in just a little bit. It's a sea of what I think should be green, but a lot of blue, mostly on our charts. One more name to get to before we jump to that, guys, and that's going to be Tesla. It's been my top stock today. However, you are getting consolidation below that target range we're looking at, that 510 to 513. That's going to make it interesting once again, guys. If the futures hold 2600 area, if we can break back above, maybe we get a second move to the upside. But now it's time for our sector watch with Brendan Wickens.
Yeah, lots of positivity right across the board here today. You're going to see big time buying going on right across the entire market. 4.6% still for the S&P 500 in positive territory. Really got to search hard for individual names that aren't in positive territory. You go into the industrials group, there are a couple things in negative territory. And then the other group over here, energy stocks, the only other group really with stocks in the red today. VLO and MPC, worth mentioning though, up about 5%. So overall, nicely positive. Want to start here with the industrials group. URI, RTX, PH, and BA leading the way there, all more than 8.5% at least into positive territory. Financials doing very well today, diversified financials, and also the banks. Here's all the banks. Big time positive moves for the banks today. We were talking about JP Morgan. There's Citigroup there, 7% as well, back to the upside. Really right across the board as far as these names are concerned. You go into the diversified groups, you're going to find 10+% moves for the entire sector. Insurance companies also making big moves back to the upside today. Consumer discretionary stocks, a lot of the retailers in this group, you're going to find GPS. There was, where was Macy's? Macy's was on here a couple minutes ago, but I don't see it right now. Ulta Beauty here, 16.8% to the upside. If you go into the consumers group, you're going to find RL. We talked about RH earlier. PVH, CPRI, 20% to the upside today. Nice moves for consumer discretionary stocks. Tech stocks are positive as well. The semis kind of lagging the software group, but overall still nice moves for the semis. Haven't talked about Micron, but 9.25%. ADI as well, 7% to the upside. But software names is where it's at in the tech sector today. DXC, ADS, and FLT more than 8% at least in positive territory. Nice way to start the week, guys. 4.6% for the S&P 500. Back over to you.
I mean, it's a great day. Thanks, Brendan, for that. And hey, guys, yeah, we're practicing social distancing on the show. Normally, Neil and I can elbow each other, but today and last week, we cannot, and we'll wait to get a directive from the government for that. But right here, guys, CCL, nice little, we're going to floss this off. Again, the cash register still running on this one. We did get long 9.55. Our best out is 10. We enjoy this coming right back up, and we are almost out. We take it out at 9.75. Your boy is short right now, JPM. Look at this. Bang, bang. So we take the short, we hit the cowbell here on that register because we go short 88.65. We talk about that one. I didn't like that price, but that's okay. We get some more at 89 even, and now we're back into the 40s. So yes, let's see if JPM can continue to fall down. This is a 30-cent winner. And I told you I was a little nervous about being short JPM and long square. So I've just been dumping some of that. I get a little aggressive here, trying to take squares through 47.90, but it's not going. Futures seem to be fading back off. So we are dumping some square and trying to lick our wounds as much as we can. But there goes JP Morgan. Nice little win. I told you this was the biggest amount of risk that we had on. We like JPM to the downside. Here you take the shares, and now you get rewarded with this future move coming down. I don't know if it's going to stay, but we'll probably scalp some of these out.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to hold this top end at 2,600 on the S&P futures, at some point, you got to figure we're going to roll over. Brennan, you were looking for Macy's. It's still up 9%, but big pullback. Made a top at 550 here, pulls back in. Now we're seeing some consolidation. I like to try this short. Futures roll over. I like this space for maybe some profit taking as people are looking over here at a beat up name and looking to say, hey, 9%, maybe that's a bit much. I do like to structure this trade. We can work into this in the 525, 530-ish range using that nice little 531 top. So look, it was a bit of a leg here on the way up on a pullback. It's now going to be a base of operation here with some consolidation. So we're going to jump into this short. Of course, we just reversed long, and I mentioned this on Luckin when it broke that 460. It was actually 461 was a big seller. So went manual on that one instead of a stop order. We reversed long at 62. It's now running to the upside. Also have a short there in Codex. That's looking to break that 10 even area. That's in the money, 10-17 short. So 2 shorts, 1 long. Let's jump over to that luck and see if we can't start working this one out here. Yeah, let's also, guys, follow us on Twitter, Neil, myself, Brendan, and of course our show all on Twitter. And I'm going to tweet this JP Morgan chart out right now. As you guys can see, and we can break this down a little bit for you here. We take that initial short. You see a big move coming down. We're still up 5%, but wow, here we go. 70 pennies now in the money. It goes against us. It does bump up. We defend that level. I was waiting for this break of the VWAP. Doesn't come. We get a nice little short at 89, and now we come crashing down. JP Morgan for the win, guys. Hit the siren, hit the cash registers. This is what we do. I have a $3.50 winner already on Apple for you. Here goes JP Morgan to the downside. So let's keep celebrating this one. CCL going up, JP Morgan going down, and Square actually going up as well. Let's take some out as we're bouncing off 88 here, guys. Yeah, and going up is going to be that luckin' for us. Once we break through this 465 on the offer, we're going to take some shares out there. Just getting 5 cents, then 10, then 15. Hopefully we can get as much as 20. As much as that's moved, I think there's some room to the upside if it wants to bounce. Codex, another name I just talked about here, working into that range. You get this consolidation. We're shorting the top end of it and then taking some out in front of that 10 even. Now, I'm also adding back into this position. When it breaks this range, I'm looking to get some shares that just broke now, and we did offer. Let's see if we can't get, we just jumped back in there on the 10 break, 995 we added to our position. So we took some at the top, 1020, jumped back in at 995. Our average price going to be 1007. Looking for a retest of this bottom down here at 960, 955. So let's see if we can't get another win here. Been shorting this one since the open. Codex giving you some nice opportunity to the downside. Let's go fireworks on this puppy. Yeah, and there's Codex. Good look there. We did talk about that. The small cap names are in the building. That's for sure. I guess I can cancel my luck in short. That's nowhere near it. We'll check back. We'll check back in Tesla there as we get out of our Square. And look what we're talking about, guys. There's Square breaking. And how do we know that? Is because we just hit our stop order. So I'll put that up there. You guys were talking about, not being able to see sort of what we're doing. There we go. Stop order. You can see what it's talking about at the bottom. We did put that in. As soon as we crack below 47.50, our stop order triggers and we get out 45s there. So Square, my worst stock by far today is you, Square. So I'm looking at you right in the face. But JPM, hopefully that can come down again. We're back to those pre-market levels right here, hovering around 88. So I have taken a little bit off. We would love for it to crack this level, 87.68, more down to the downside here. You can see where we were on Friday. There's a lot of room to come here as 88 coming into play right now. And we are short. We'll call it up again just to show you guys what we are as we're getting ready again for money talks at 10:50. But these are the positions I have. It's only 2 of them right now. It's CCL long side. That's 11 penny winner, but I'm much more worried about this JPM short, which is now 70 pennies in the money for you guys. So let's see if it's going to hold this 88 or not. I'm going to get some out right now. I just flatted 80% of my position in luck, and I'll tell you why. There was a massive seller. The entire time once it broke, there was a huge seller at 465 that was just shorting, reloading over and over again with an iceberg order. I'm not going to stand in the way of that. If it's going to break out to the upside, it's going to have to do it a little bit later on. I'm not going to fight that trade. I have 20% left here, just on the off chance that it holds 450 and makes another run. I want to be positioned to be able to reload and give it one more crack. You see the nice bottom it made, put in a higher low, reversing that trend. So I do like the reversal to a long, at least in the short term, but I can't step in the front of a seller that big. That just is what it is. You'll take off that risk. flat that trade for most of it and see if you can't get a better price. Brendan, what do you got?
No little one here. Back to small cap world, guys. XBit, XBiotech, still 3.5% to the upside. This thing was almost $14 in the pre-market this morning. Look at the move we had from 14 down to 11 almost, kind of consolidating under 12 at the moment. But they announced a new, they're teaming up with another company to develop a plasma-based COVID-19 treatment. Guys.
Plasma-based.
Okay.
Good
look there.
But
guys, CODX is continuing to sort of run to the downside here. We have held below 10 even for the time being, so you are seeing a continuation of this trend. It's one of these ones where if it doesn't break back above this 10, 30-ish area, you want to sort of make sure you can hold a core position while aggressively maybe taking some profits in front of that fresh low. I want to make sure I'm net short when it breaks that low and hold on to some, but I also want to make sure that I've taken profits on the way down. So we've got short here at 10.07. I will just take a leg out as we barely got below. We just touched off my order there. What are we doing here? With 975, I'm sitting there, can't get any executions. We'll see if we can't get a breakthrough of this 975 area to get out some of these shares on our Codex 10.07 shorts.
Good, yeah, we're still running. Yeah, Kodak's a good name there. I was looking to see if it was going to break off the top, but we do have, like I said, Money Matters coming up soon, and then followed by our trade of the day, which will be with Neil today. So we will be checking that out here. Crude oil continues to go to the downside. We're taking off some JPM. It doesn't look like it wants to break 88, but we're still holding it. Nice little trade here. 88.79 we are short. Okay, XOM, we'll go over to that name. We love this, and shout out to our boy Kevin O'Leary was on the show, and this stock was at 34.35, calling it a nice, decent, long opportunity. That was just last week. We had Kevin O'Leary here from Shark Tank fame and Trader TV fame as well. 39, if we could take this out now, 39.78 maybe to the top side here on XOM. I do like that one. But the segment that we've been teasing, get your pocket change ready because we're going to throw up some Forex numbers here and talk a little bit with Brendan and Money Talks.
Yeah, we'll tell you how much that pocket change is worth maybe as far as today goes. Some interesting moves on the currency board today. I want to jump into the pound first of all. Back to positive territory, albeit ever so slightly. It was lower for the better part of the morning. You can see a little bit of a move to the downside back below that 123 area, 122.7 this morning. Obviously over the weekend they announced that Boris Johnson back in the hospital because of lingering COVID-19 symptoms. So British pound was lower, but back to the upside on that news. Our Canadian dollar back to the upside ever so slightly, 0.35% today, back above 70 cents, which is good to see, obviously. Crude oil getting a little bit of a tick higher early on and overnight, but back to the downside obviously today. So 70 and change here for the CAD. The euro lower today, 0.2% to the downside. Japanese yen and Swiss franc both kind of in positive territory, really not doing much though. Australia and New Zealand, some decent economic numbers coming out overnight as far as Australia goes. So that's giving them a nice uptick today, 1.45%, 1.1% for both back above or around that 60 and change area. As far as cryptos are concerned, Jeff Mendel mentioning Bitcoin, not really doing a heck of a lot, but higher on the day regardless, 7,100, up about 6%. Ethereum here, 155, 10% move today for Ethereum, with Bitcoin only up about half that, 5%. So interesting, obviously, moves in the currencies today, a lot of them headline based as per usual. Guys, back over to you.
All right. And yeah, what's up, guys? I don't know what view we're doing. Oh, behind me there. Oh, they're here. Hey, guys, whatever we are. Yeah, JP Morgan, we celebrate there the 88 break, but no follow through. You'll see on the chat, I put that there. We were waiting. I think we got as low there as, what was that, 94, 95-ish? So we are right back into this play now on JP Morgan. We're going to see about this one, 87.90 and change. We did take a little bit of a short, but we'll wait to see 88.35. If that cracks, we'll get out of this one. Going to get long in XOM as well, but right now JP Morgan 88.40-ish will be on our look for this one as it's heading back northbound a little bit. Don't get away from the futures, guys. We're still up 5%.
Yeah, and just having a quick look for myself here at that Macy's position. It did take out that bottom, but the futures sort of stalling out a little bit here, and we do have a 520 short here, 521 actually to be precise. We're looking at the 530 area at the top. That's going to be our breakout point. You actually look at this range, and it's 31. That's going to be the actual high. So you're risking about 10 pennies on this one. It did bounce off 5 even, so if we slide back down, you do have a tremendous upside, I think, in this spot. But either away, you want to make sure you stay relatively tight and do not allow this to break all the way back up to VWAP. I don't necessarily love that trade if you're going to hang on to it all the way up to 540 or so. I think realistically, if you like that, you should have been shorting this one when it made the initial breakout. So we're in that Macy's. We still have half of our Codex. I did mention when we got that breakdown, I wanted to see if we can't be net short as long as it holds 1030 and hasn't broken that hasn't broken that 950 bottom. So we're still doing that. I will reload, I think, one more time here in that 1020-ish range in front of that 1030 mark. So still working that Codex. That long position in Luckin, we never actually got that pullback into 450 that we wanted. We took off 80% of it flat, thinking it would pull back, and I'll sort of zoom in here. It actually did give you a small pullback to 455, not really going all the way. So if we continue to move upside, we got some exposure long. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as much as we like if this is the ultimate move back up to VWAP or higher.
Yeah, like what printed here? I'm just talking on the chat here about this ATOS. Okay, there we go. We're long XOM here. Nice little trade. We're going to get out of some of it already right away. We go long XOM, 39.92. Let's go. Here we go. Yeah, XOM to the top side here. We'll get out of some of these 01s, 02s. Nice little long here. We punch a decent amount of shares. So we're just going to scalp these right back out. We don't pay retail, as you guys know. We get out for the rebates. Nice little long here. We take this breaking through this 1 minute VWAP. 39.90. We are long XOM. We take some out 40s, 40.02 there. So we are long 39.90 as this one's coming right back. We did take out some JPMs there as well. This market may be reversing to the long side. Here's JPM 88.40. Look where we got some out there, 30s and 20s. We're going to go long if it breaks back above 60, but JPM and XOM, big time winners for us. CCL, hit the moon for that one. Hit the confetti, whatever you want. CCL, still a big winner, guys. We are long this name now, $9.56. So 35-cent winner here, 25-cent winner on the short on JPM, 10-cent winner was 10 cents, now 8 cents on XOM. The party continues to go, guys. Let's see what these futures want to do.
Yeah, just having a quick look at finally going to the upside is going to be that Luckin trade. We do have that 62 long side trade right now. We took off some when it broke down. We got that out flat, but I'm looking to load back into this one. If we can break VWAP, you do have a great opportunity to run to $5 here as it's made a bit of a bottom, and the futures do want to hold the top end of the range. We're still at 4.5%. We're showing a bit of strength here overall in this market. We rolled over at 2,600 and then didn't fall very far. So let's see if Luckin can't get some juice to the upside. I'll try adding here in front of VWAP if we can. We have a great price right now at 62 in case it does want to make that run to 5 even. The other position we have on, I talked about, is Codex. That's not in our target range for adding more shares here till it gets about to 1020 or so. And then lastly, I want to get over to Macy's, which just tested that 530. Failed back through. So when it fails on that little break, and these were all dark pool prints, never really had a clean break through 531, that's a re-entry point for me. When I see that happen, I want to jump back in on the way back down. So we did do that. 25 is our price. Macy's, we like the overall weakness in the space. Building is short, but it's a very, very tight stop on this one. I just think if it holds this range and breaks below, it's a $5 exit. You're only risking 5, maybe even less than that in terms of pennies, what you're going to have there. So one long, 2 shorts. The long is in Luckin, believe it or not. We've been shorting it all morning. Now we've reversed.
Okay, yeah, and me the same thing here. CCL, we still got that one. We're patiently waiting here for XOM, and you may see my eyes going everywhere. We have a different setup here, different charts. You guys can, you can see there on this screen here, 1, 2, 3 level 2s. There we go, and a bunch of different charts, the daily, 13, 12-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute, 3-minute, different hot lists here, and our blotters and different things happening right now. I'm also on Twitter right now. Make sure you follow us there as well. And I'm just looking to see about our JP Morgan trade. We did take some out as I thought it was going to break 50. So right now we are pretty light on JP Morgan, but we did roll the dice on that short. And again, it's been one of my top stocks here as we rock and roll. Really, if it wasn't for Square today, then we'd be alley-ooping this market because it'd be a monstrous day. But we do have Square, and we'll check back. Oh, we're out of it now. But we defended the long. We tried to grab this long here again, got flushed out, and now look, our long would be cash money. So we'll wait to see on Square. I should have maybe stayed away from that one, but that's my only negative stock today, guys.
And I do believe we're getting very, very close to jumping into our trade of the day. But before we do that, we're going to have our European update. And we're just going to throw our Twitter handles in there where you'll see us talk about tweeting some of these charts out and some of the trades that we make. And make sure you follow us. You'll also get updates on what our guests are going to be in any given day. And of course, we had a fantastic couple today with It's Airplane Jane and Jeff Mendel from OTCX. I'm actually going to jump back before we get into this European update. Looking at that zoom, I wanted to see it fail through that top. It got through 120, stalled out at 121, and now we're holding back again at the top end of the range. So look at this obvious pivot point that's happening here at 119. If the futures roll over, zoom's going to be a short through that 119 price. So add that back into the radar, guys. This should be another active trade in zoom. It's not going to be done for me yet, even though we stepped away from it in the last half an hour or so.
Yeah, I'm just tweeting it, guys, and I know Victoria or Veronica there, you're asking us about our Twitter handles. Just search us, but it's at tradertv.live. So, live. You should be able to find that there on Twitter. So I can't tweet out links on this chat, but you'll be able to find us. Just go to Twitter, go to our homepage, whatever. Go to our YouTube page. It's all over there. But we are ready now at the big screen to get a European update with Valeria. What's up, Valeria?
Hey guys, welcome to the European update. Well, Europe is overall in positive territory today. Let's take a closer look. Britain is up 2.64%. Germany is up 5.41%. France is up 4.46%. Spain is up 3.94%, and Russia is up 3.04%. Well, some quick news from Europe. EasyJet says that it's grounding the whole fleet of its aircrafts due to travel restrictions by governments. BMW sees demand keep falling after Q1 sales fall due to coronavirus outbreak. The 2020 British Open Golf Championship was cancelled for the first time since the World War II due to coronavirus outbreak. That's all for now with Europe, and I'll keep you updated. Back to Brandon.
All right, let's get into trade of the day. Yeah, pretty sad to hear about that. The Open Championship canceled for the first time since the Second World War. If you're a golf fan, that's pretty sad. But these are the times we're in, unfortunately. We talked about a whole bunch of names. If you joined us at 9 o'clock this morning, this is the segment where we jump into one of the trades that either Neil or Sean took. Today it's going to be Neil. We mentioned Tesla. There was a little bit of positive news surrounding Tesla. They were looking at designing and manufacturing some ventilators using parts from the Model 3. So interesting concept. We'll see how that plays out. Here's Neil.
Thanks a lot, Brennan. We looked at Tesla today. For those of you who were not in there on the chat, watching us live in the pre-market at 9 o'clock, we were talking about some key levels that we're immediately looking at right away. We looked at 510 to 513. A couple of people in the chat, myself included, were kind of honed in on this level to the break to the upside. One of the things that I first noted, however, was if you broke that 513, there was just nothing in the way until about 530 in terms of resistance. So you had some good upside in that target area. You had a $3 target range between 510 and 513 that I think a few of us really, really liked. I was in love with it. However, we flushed off the open. So what happens when you like a target upside and you're looking at a bit of a sell-off, bit of a pullback in, you take a step back, you're patient, you're not looking to long bottoms on this one. I wanted a long break to the upside where I'd have some support once we got through that 13, so you got to wait on this. That's all you got to do. I know you like the long. Certainly there were some opportunities and some consolidation, but that wasn't the structure of trade that I was particularly looking for. We're waiting for a higher percentage opportunity, and that's what we did here. Let's see if we can't jump into the first clip and start reviewing how we work the trade. Just mentioned Tesla, Sean, and ultimately we were talking about a key level there. 513 was that one we liked for a breakout long. It failed at that price, 513.50, right off of the open. So for me, it's going to give you an opportunity on this little retracement. You have 2600 on the ES there. You have 2630, which is a massive level. I do like the opportunity to take a quick little short in front. If 513 breaks, we said there's nothing till 530. A couple of you guys were looking at that on the chart. So it is a long play through that price. I'm always going to take a shot when I get tight stops or a good risk-reward ratio to jump into that short with a reversal play. So that's what we're doing here with Tesla. I always have to walk and chew gum at the same time. And this is one of those setups where it's because I love this little failure through your target area at 513 when you get it right at the open, and then it gives you a second shot up. And once I see it make a move to the upside and stall out shy of that 513 while in your target range at 510, when it dips back down towards that 510, I like that short. I mean, you're only risking a couple of bucks to your top end range, and of course, I'm still reversing long either way, but it's one of those trades that you kind of have both in the back pocket there. The short is going to be a tighter stop short with a big upside. I mean, you've got basically $8 to $10 worth of upside there on a short that's going to risk only about a couple of dollars, maybe $2.53 tops, depending on how good your entry. Mine was actually better than 510, so it's about a 4 to 5 to 1 win-loss ratio, but the real trade is going to be that reversal at that 513. That's what we're eyeballing. The tricky thing here is, as much as 530 is a great target, in the ES, we're breaking up towards 2600 and 2630, which was a massive level. Unfortunately, as much as I love that long breakout, if we're not going to be pushing through or testing that top end level, 2630, it's going to be hard to get to 530. That's what can turn a breakout trade with more upside into a bit of a scalp. You have to watch the overall market for resistance as well as your individual stock levels, Brennan.
Yeah, no trouble adding to that as well as we break above those pre-market highs. Obviously a stock that we were kind of leaning long on in the pre-market based off of the movement. You get the flush, as Neil said, off of the open. Once you start to see those higher highs starting to come in, we get back above VWAP, starting to break to the upside with the overall market. Nice look as we head through that pre-market high then into day highs for Tesla. Let's go to the next clip.
Got that reversal in Tesla, of course, through that 513 area, so we did jump in. We talked about nothing really there till 530. Here's the thing, we're in the money about $2.50, almost $3 on this play, but it's worth noting the futures have not gone through that 2600, and you're also staring 7850 in the face on the NASDAQ. You got 2630 also coming into play, so as much as I would love to see us test this 530, we're probably going to run into some resistance before we get there in the overall market. So you might be thinking about taking this one off for a scalp trade and looking for a re-entry point. 520-ish or so seems like a reasonable opportunity for me to go grab this one. Tesla was showing some weakness before. I don't want this to stall out on me. We've already got a nice winner here, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to take the scalp win in front of 520, look for a re-entry. So you get a break 513. We have a target of about 530 area. So you have about $17. You throw slippage in there. You're talking about $10 to $15 worth of upside. Now, as we're running into a level here on the futures as well, you see me take it off up in this 519 range. You quickly take $5 off on that trade. But how are you going to make your 10, 15? You got to use that level once again. You heard me say I'm now looking for a pullback. If the futures are going to stall at the top and we're going to get any kind of a retracement, well, if it was resistance before, it's a nice target area back in that same 510 to 513. I'm going to patiently wait for a pullback, and I know that I'm going to be jumping in. And there's nothing scientific about it. You hear it on the tape. When I talk about it, Brendan, I simply look at the middle end of my range, allow it to go into my target range, and then pick it up once it's gone there. So very, very patiently waiting for a re-entry. You can still make your $10, $15 out of there, but it's not going to be easy to do it on the way up when you run into that resistance on the futures.
Yeah, maybe a good point to kind of talk a little bit about the entry and the exit a little bit further, in the sense that both of those arrows on that chart are kind of, bottom tick and top tick on the out as well. So good job, first of all. But maybe discuss how, throwing an order out passively into the market is always going to get you a better fill than being aggressive with it.
So I'm going to try and cheat here, Brennan. I'm going to talk about, we just talked about that re-entry point. I want to jump to the next clip, and hopefully this will help us out. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, but certainly it does look like it's perfect, but I'll get into why that sometimes is going to be the case. It's just the way that you trigger in, and sometimes you pick a key level. It ends up being right, and other people are guessing the same way. But let's run that next clip and then talk about those entries. I am looking at Tesla back into that 513 range that we like, 510 to 513. So you're going to see me jump into position probably shortly here in Tesla as we get into this target area. Any kind of consolidation is good. Maybe you'll catch it on the way back up. Otherwise, I am waiting in the middle of this range. So we're either going to catch it on the way down in the middle of the range, or we're going to get a break back to the upside if we get any consolidation. 513 was that key level. I know some of you guys were mentioning it, Kevin in the chat there. We're all looking at basically the same thing. Yeah, that's the key thing. We're all looking at the same thing. Everyone and their mother could have looked at 510 to 513 and saw it as a target area. So when we pick 511.50, which is right smack dab in the middle, and we're resting with an order, we know there's a decent chance it could run away from it. You might not even get that fill. We're lucky. We got that fill dipping right in at that perfect entry price, basically getting bottom wick. But I did mention the other way we're going to play this. If you don't catch that bid, you still like that target entry between 10 and 13. You're willing to take it on the way back up. If we did miss this fill, we're still going to try and get 512 to 513 on the way back up and capture a good part of this move. The second part of this equation is, with the futures not even attempting to test higher at this point, we're still failing at that 2600 at this time, we're not breaking out to those highs. Am I thinking we're going to break to that 530? Am I thinking we're going to get back to that fresh high that we got past 520? Not likely. Not without a further push in the futures. Not unless we get some more juice to the market. We're already up about 4% at that point. Now I'm looking for about a 50% retracement move back in, which will give me that 517. So, because we get that perfect entry at 511.50, it ends up being another $5 move. That's fantastic. You take your 10, 11, total $12, whatever it might end up being. It's going to be in that range. But there was a little bit of luck to getting 511.50 because we picked that midpoint as opposed to having to pay an extra dollar. Sometimes you put those orders in there, everyone's looking at that same target area, and you're able to get that fill, Brennan. But you should have a backup plan in case you don't get picked up.
Yeah, interesting to see that thing back below VWAP now, kind of looking like it might want to test lower. Once again, the market overall kind of consolidating a little bit as well. Interesting movement today for Tesla, to say the least. Let's go to the last clip.
Well, one position on, that's going to be Tesla. We talked about the range that we like. It's either going to break 510 to the downside, so we're only risking about $1.50 in slippage on this one, or we're going to get this break that we have here to the upside, get 50% back to the top and take a quick scalp. So that's the structure of this trade. You're risking 1.5 plus slippage to make 5. And what do we just do? We made 5. So we'll give that little disco trade off there. The short that we tried was a small loss. A couple of longs we've now scalped off on Tesla using the level that we identified pre-market. You got to come in, got to do your work. This is what it's all about. I know a couple of guys in the chat here agreed with that same target range. It was obvious when we looked at the chart here. So love that on Tesla. We're not done with that story. And this is one of those things. I mean, trading is fun, making money is a lot of fun, but when things work out to plan, it can seem boring. I don't think it is. I think it's exciting. I love to see, this little move here. You pick that midpoint retracement. What happens if you wanted to hang on to it? It does give you a retest, but you got to get out. And if you didn't take this, we talked about all the reasons why you didn't think it was going to retest that high and why that sort of seemed like that was a bit of wishful thinking. Obviously, there was a chance it could happen. You give it 1 or 2 shots. I only gave it the one before getting out. If you gave it the second one, you got to be able to get back out. One last thing before we throw it back to you, Brendan. I want to note here, we have a stop at 510 when we take this long position. That's our line in the sand, the 510 to 513 range. Whenever you get out of a nice long for winning trade, cancel your stops. Otherwise, you do what I did, which is pay the spread when you accidentally target in like a chump and then just immediately get back out. Now, why don't you hold that trade? Yes, it could roll over at 510. Yes, it gives you a bit of a scalp win. But if I don't get into position because I wanted to as an intended trade, I'm just going to get right out. I don't care if it's a good pivot point. I don't care if it ends up holding 510 to 513, which we're going to note right now, and maybe turns into a bit of a short trade. If you didn't intend to get into position, just get right out. Pay the spread, no harm, no foul. Still my top stock of the day, Brennan.
Yeah, definitely rules to live by and die by, evidently. Definitely, if you get into a trade, obviously, that you're not intended to take, just get out of it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Tesla, all kinds of opportunities. It was Jefferies was the other piece of news. Jefferies upgrading the stock today from neutral to buy based off of the higher Q1 delivery numbers that we got last week. So Tesla, all kinds of opportunity. Your trade of the day for Monday. Let's go back to the guys.
All right, great trade of the day. And while you've been going, boom, we flossed it off again. Another little winner. I refueled the coffee, so cheers to anybody drinking with me today. Only coffee for right now. But we are winning now on XOM, and our average short here, 39.88. And as you guys can see here, we'll blow this chart up just a little bit. These are all sells, so we initially go long here off this 39.90 break and get out, and then all of these purples are us building a short sell. So we'll see if we can zoom in a little bit more, build. We're just defending this VWAP. We did have to hold it a little bit against us. Trying to break through 40, does not. Now we're back down 39.76. So we're taking these winners as it's bounced around. I'm going to try to hold to see if we can't get back into the 50s here. But the S&P 500, as those of you that are watching that, as we always do, are still bouncing around 2,600. They make a move down to 25.85 there, but now back to the upside. We're going to have to watch crude oil if you're trading XOM, guys.
Yeah, and I sit back down here and just put in the chat that we do have Codex jumping back into that target range for me. So I'm going to jump back in the teens there, but the trade that we left off with before I got up was at Macy's in front of that 530. You saw the failure when it tried to break this little range of consolidation. It fails big time. We jump back into some more shares to get a 525 average price, and then we're working out of it all the way down. It breaks 20s. You get some out at 18. You get some out at 15. Got bottoms here at 512. So that's a decent win of about 13 pennies on a $5 stock. We still have 30% of the position because, as I mentioned before, if we broke the bottom end here, I wanted us to test 5 even. So, right now I got a 499 low of day on this stock. I want to see a 5 even test. We'll hang on to this one and maybe move our stop from 530 back into about 525, which is our average price. So break even stop on the rest of these shares here. It'll show my price as 530, but that was our best add when we worked this short out. Brendan, what do you got?
Nice look for TME here, guys. 10-cent music breaking back to the downside. Look at this seller that just stepped up. Huge volume coming into the sell side for TME. They announced this morning that their Joox, Joox karaoke app has seen all kinds of usage because of the COVID-19 lockdown, obviously, and huge spike in downloads as well for Joox. So positive news, but TME coming back to the downside, guys.
Joox. Yeah, I never heard of that one, but
definitely worth a look. Coming back to the downside was luck in there, and once again, you get a little bit lucky when you step away. We did have that 466 long. We were able to take some out when it broke VWAP there. When it got to 475, you took some profits, but we get a reload in front of 450, and we stepped away. We mentioned 450 on this little push to the upside was going to be our out. We do load back up here in front of 450, and now it's immediately working back in our favor. So we're going to retest that VWAP at 470. If it holds above, I still like the chance that maybe we can get to that 5 even mark. We're stalling out here in the futures, but Luckin's so beaten up that any bottom is going to provide you with a good risk to reward, especially with the amount of liquidity it's got. Valeria now has a little something for us. Let's jump over to her.
Thank you, Neil, and dear viewers, I wanted to thank you for all of your activity, for all of your likes. Thank you for being with us this morning. And also, please hit the thumbs up more. We need just 10 more likes for 100 likes, but if we get even more, would be perfect. And of course, subscribe for our channel. We are live every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Someone asked on the chat, how can I trade like traders, and is it possible to trade like them? Well, guys, of course, the answer is yes, but you need to know that Neil and Sean, they have more than 30 years of combined experience in trading and also learn market. Stay tuned to our show, and of course, you'll be trading us, guys. Well, that's all for now, and I'll see you later. Back to traders.
Always got to be mentioning how many years we've been trading. I mean, I know, so many years my hair has fallen out, but I am going to work into some more of this Codex. I did talk about the target range. You're looking at about 1030 is going to be the stop, so I would like to get my average price a little bit better. We did have one ab when it broke 10 even, and then only took off half of our position. So we're going to work our price into that teen range once again, and you're just going to allow it to break that 1030. And after that, I'm not reversing to the long side. You still have VWAP in 1050. We'll maybe jump back in at some point, but for now, it's Codex short side at 13 or so. Also looking at that Luckin trade, we just got some more shares. So 460 is our average price. I want more in the 450s in case we get that break up to VWAP. And Macy's still working deep in the money for us. We love shorting this name. It is Macy's, what it is. Yeah, we're up 7%. I only shorted it. Didn't want any part of the upside move. I waited till it pulled back in, consolidated, jump into the short. Macy's has been good to us for, I don't know, months now. Any kind of short play that sets up well, we love it.
Yeah, exactly. 511. I'm actually going to put it in right now. 509 here. Well, it's short. We'll just try 500 shares to begin with here. Macy's shorting through 510. We'll see if that one can come through to the downside. We're building our short again in XOM, so we're going to see if it can test $40. We're taking some more shares right now. JP Morgan is still working for us. We've got 34 cents in the money here on CCL. And yeah, we're long Codex right now, guys. $10.23 long side here. Let's see if this one wants to get going, Brendan.
CPRI, guys, Capri Holdings moving back to the downside here, still up 17% on the day. They announced a whole bunch of shifting in their corporate structure, got rid of some of the directors off of the board. They announced some layoffs. So a whole bunch of movement for Capri Holdings in an effort to reduce costs going forward, obviously because of the outbreak. So it is positive on the day, but right at $10 here for CPRI, guys.
Okay.
CPRI.
Let's go, Codex.
So 1030, that's the break point. So Codex 3 times short in front. Now we get out. We can try scalping along, but I'm not. 1050 was the level for me. Sean, I know you're long there. I want to see 1050 and VWAP go before I really dig into any kind of a big long position. So we did reverse a small amount to the long side, but it's not going to be a big shot there in Codex yet. That's the key word. I mean, we do like the opportunity at some point. One other name which is maybe giving you a consolidation breakout at some point is going to be JetBlue. We did check back in on this one earlier. It is still holding about a 760 to 785 range or so. So 25-cent range, really tightening itself up. I would like to break almost in either direction. Volatility should come back into this one at some point. The futures here stalling out at 2600-ish. Is probably a good part of the reason why we've lacked some movement over in JetBlue, despite the fact that it's got a lot of room to possibly run in either direction. So watch 785, watch 760. I like either break on JetBlue.
Okay, we're going back to XOM right now. Short 39.90 right now. We're back at 82. So once again, little floss it off. What's up, Brendan?
Zoom, guys, just watching another possible little trade setting up here. I mentioned this 118 way back when it was consolidating after the move off the lows. Same sort of story here. We're kind of consolidating once again between 120 and 119. Worth mentioning, just read a story saying that Guggenheim has disclosed a large position in Zoom, guys. So a lot of analysts and credit agencies possibly taking the sell-off as an opportunity to pick up some shares, maybe, guys.
Okay.
And that's interesting because I was sort of looking for at some point it consolidating and breaking lower, and that's just been the story for me. I've been sort of backing off this one for the last little while in this move up, looking for what will be this pivot break here at about 118.50, 118.60 or so. So when that does break down below, as long as we're still hanging out underneath that 2600 area on the ES, that key level in the futures has not been broken and held above, I'm still going to be looking for this retracement short in Zoom. I've had my stop in for at least about 30-40 minutes now as it's been holding this top end range. So nothing has changed for me on this name. If it breaks below that 118.50, we'll initiate a position to the short side in Zoom.
Let's check out some of our favorite stocks here. Let's go over to Microsoft. We still are short XOM. We did cover some there when I was talking to you guys about it in the low 80s, 82, 83, and 80 there. But we are still short right now, 90s on this name, and we're still long Codex here, right here at 23. We're not going to let that one go too much, but look where we got out, guys, 30, 31, 32. So we'll wait to see if that one can pop up. If not, we'll dump that soon. No harm, no foul. But XOM is once again, guys, moving back to the upside. You can check out oil CLK20 on our platform, and I see those of you asking about it. We are using the P-Pro 8 platform, over 65 live markets. You can trade, including the NYMEX. So when you see a .NM here, that's oil. Oil right now down 6+%, looking at 7%. We are short XOM, so let's see if this trend, lower highs continues to come through here on oil. And if that can be true, then I know that our XOM can come into play as we reload again, guys. Took some 94s now, right back down to 89.
Yeah, one stock that I was looking at earlier in the session and haven't engaged in trade yet is going to be Slack. Work here holding the top end of its range, 25 over and over again all morning long, has been a bit of a top, and you see the future is sort of sliding down and holding below its high of the day. Similar thing happening here in work. It's just primed to explode through that 25 even area, so you want to be locked and loaded, ready to go on a break up. It hasn't really had any significant pullbacks through, so if you're looking for something to go long in, if we can take the top off, why not have a look at Slack? It's only up 1.5% right now, with the futures up almost 4.5%, and both the NASDAQ and both the ES actually up 4.5%. So 25 break in Zoom, Slack. I'm going to put that one in right now. We do want a long side break. Still short in Macy's, but that could come back and hit our trailing stop. We'll still be a winner on 70% of the position, but want to trail it. Make sure you don't turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now with JP Morgan. Well, you know what? Maybe not. We are short JP Morgan. Still from here, we took another short, 88.17. So we're going to see if JP Morgan still wants to work its way to the downside now, as that looks like it may want to break the bottom. It's been pretty weak. Watch out for these futures, as we keep saying, bouncing off 2,600. It's been a chop fest. And what we mean by choppy just means back and forth and upside down. So it's not doing anything. We're bouncing off 25.98 down to 25.91. That's like a 7-handle range you're talking about in 15 minutes here. So I'd like to get away from this. This is that big move up that we caught the $3.50 there on Apple. Since then, though, man, everything's been kind of wishy-washy, which is why we go back to XOM, and I continue just to kind of scalp this out. Like I said, we're not trading on a retail platform here. We're a prop firm. So every time we bid an offer, as long as we are adding liquidity, being passive, we do get a rebate. So that's why you're going to see I have 225 fills so far, and my fees are $21, guys.
Yeah, just a quick look back here at Zoom, guys. We continue to consolidate just above that 118.50. I think you want to be locked and loaded and ready to go on this to the downside. But, it's worth noting the futures here on the ES, still holding this very, very tight range. You do not want to get chopped out in this. The reality is, we've slowed down in terms of volatility. Have your key levels that you're working off of. Know which stocks have the relative strength that you like to go long on a breakup. But if we roll over, where you're going to be short. Take off some of those longs that don't look good. Hang on to your short positions. I want to make sure I have this Macy's still short side, hopefully, if the futures roll over, and add that Zoom to my portfolio of positions to the south side. So looking out for that. But right now, Brendan Wickens, what do you got?
More news on Luckin, guys. LK obviously down significantly again today. Just reading a story saying the chairman of the company has defaulted on a loan and has had been forfeited. All of his shares have been forfeited. So another negative look for Luckin today, obviously. 470 up here. If you have a look at the chart, tested that a couple of times, might get another test of the lows, guys.
As I play it on a long bounce, believe it or not, which actually, look, it's ultimately working out for us here. We added a couple of times on that bounce in front of 450, so I just added again there at 457, looking to see if it can't make it back up to VWAP. And we reversed from shorts only 2 longs when it initially took that 460, and we've been working that ever since. All scalping here after missing that big gigantic move to the downside at the open. But right now, it's time to jump over to one of our fun segments with Valeria at the big screen in Focus.
Hey guys, some quick news updates in case you've missed. Well, OPEC and Russia postponed their meeting set for today to discuss oil price. The meeting now is scheduled for April 9th and will be held via video conference. Previous week, oil price rose 24% after Donald Trump tweeted that he expects Russia and Saudi Arabia to cut 10 million barrel per day. But after announced delays, oil price fell overnight trading on Sunday. Travel and cruise stocks are now in the heart of the crisis. For example, Carnival alone fell 80% so far this year. Though analysts say that Carnival had a lot of difficult situation in his history, and it tends to bounce back usually. New York mayor said that the city might run out of ventilators by Wednesday. The New York City is in need of 1,500 ventilators to go through this week, and city now has only 135 ventilators in stock. A 4-year tiger in New York Zoo have been tested positive with the coronavirus. It's believed that the tiger was infected with one of the zoo workers. Well, guys, that's all for today. Stay healthy and stay in focus. Back to traders.
The tiger look. I know a certain show that Sean is in love with. I have still...
Me? The whole world.
The whole world. They can have it, to be perfectly honest. Brendan, I know you tried it. I tried watching an episode as well. You know what? It is what it is. To each their own. I can see why some people find it entertaining. I just couldn't love it too much there, unfortunately. I am having a quick look at that Zoom trade. I know a couple of you guys have asked about it. I like the breakdown at 118.50. I know you could fade that in front of the high of the day. That's not the way that I usually like to enter into trades in Zoom. I find you can get yourself into some trouble there when it runs that top, and you have to have a tight stop, and I like area breaks a little bit better. So let's see if it can't take out that bottom first, and we hang below that 2,600. That's the entry that I like on Zoom. But Brendan, what do you got?
Another little one here. That's crazy news about that tiger, the virus kind of jumping over to a cat of all things. MYGN here up 18%. They had a positive cancer test over in Japan. A little bit thinly traded here, but 1450 looking like a little bit of resistance for MYGN. Guys.
Okay, we get out of our XOM as it breaks above 40, so we're basically going to be flat on the last little bit of that, so it didn't get its way down. You can see this is why we scalp it like crazy down here, and then get out. So we take 10 or so pennies on the low side, 8 to 10, and then we get out here on that 40 break. So there it goes to the upside, so that's a loser. The only position we have on right now is CCL, and it's at day's high, so there you go, a nice little 50-cent winner for that one. So we'll catapult ourselves. Still the same position we've always had, guys, $9.55 long here, and we're breaking back above 10, so hopefully you have that. Our JPM, we got out of that one breaking back above 88, so JPM is actually one of my top stocks today as we go. So JP Morgan looking like a nice little win there. We are looking for Microsoft to take out the top as well, as the futures take 2,600, but we're still waiting to see if it can go 2,605.
Boo, Macy's. We'll flush that one down the toilet. It's going to be a flat trade for the last 30% of our position. We worked in what I thought was going to be a banger short at 525. We're taking it out on the way down to that 510. It manages to hold that level. So we hung on to 30% to see if we couldn't get a flush all the way down to that 5 even. 499 technically is the low. However, the reason why I'm going to get out at break even is I want to see if we can't get a better re-entry point. Let's see what happens as it breaks through that 525, 530 potentially, and then tests up to VWAP. It got as high as 535 before failing, so I want to be positioned to maybe jump back into that same trade if we do get that shot. So we're going to be flat for now on Macy's. I only have a couple of long positions in the works. It's still that same Codex, which is literally doing nothing except opening up some spread a little bit. We talked about that in the chat. And then I've got also that Luckin Coffee. And ultimately, this has been a great short all morning long. We're now only going long since it broke that 450. I will try to scalp some out this 459 long in front of VWAP for a third of it, and the rest we're holding. I want to see a break VWAP. I want to see a test up towards that 5 even mark. Brendan, what do you got?
Another one we were talking about earlier in the show, guys. Work here, Slack Technologies now up 1.8%. Tight little consolidation. Nice look here for Work after the move off the low from 22.75 back to 24.75. They announced this morning $600 million debt offering. So a little bit of negativity to start the day, but nicely positive now for Work, guys.
Yeah, I was looking at 24.45 as a short there on Work. So I think I will put that in right now just to see if it does come through. We'll take 200 shares if that does break. Work.ny here, and this is a good little name. We talked about that. This has been a trade of the day for us a couple times. Look at the consolidation. Great little look there, Brendan, as you go. The top, 24.85. Then you got this little bottom. This is what we're talking about here, 24.40 or so. So you're in this range now on Work, and we'll make it blow it up a little bit so you can see it. If it takes out the top, what a great long, because it's right here on the pre-market. So I think we got to get above 25 to get excited, but I also do not mind this short on a little bit of a pullback. Right now I'm only looking at Starbucks long. We can talk about that one. I'm not in it yet, but if we break back, this is still Work. Come on, Starbucks. If we break back above this little mark here, 65 and change, maybe 65.05, we'll try a long in Starbucks. But pretty good day so far. XOM just fell on its face, but the market is ripping up. I'm going to go back to XOM.
Yeah, as the market goes back towards that 26 battle over and over again, I'm going to note here Zoom just breaking away from that 118.50 mark. So it looked like we were going to get triggered into the short. Didn't happen by about 10 cents or so. So now it's a couple of times it's touched off of 118.60. You can see earlier in the session this was a bit of a pivot. It rejected the same price area right off the open several times before breaking through. This is why we like an entry here on the retracement to the downside. But watch out as the futures are looking like they want to take this top or at least test this top. We'd love to see 26.30 test. That's been such a key level on the ES that it's worth a look to see. And you want to have some upside breaks in case it does. I was looking at 25 even at Slack. If it does do that, we'll break to the upside there. And of course, we've had this luck in long as well. I want to jump and give you one more name here that we have not touched all morning long. That's going to be Dave & Buster's. Massive move off of the open, sort of breaking from 11.30, a dollar upside, and then falling off an absolute cliff, $2. So it looked very strong, and it's still up 5.5%. But look at the move back into the downside that play has gotten. I like this one. If we can test that 26.30 or so to the upside, this could be one that you could see a bit of a second leg wave to the upside after that $2 fall. 11 even would be that breakout price for me. It's done good volume. It's been in play. Good risk to reward. If you take that 11 break, use that low of the day, maybe come back to those highs, but you want the futures going with you on that.
Look, am I going to get caught long again here? This is the best trade here. 250 long Apple. Those of you that weren't with us in the morning, sorry, because 942, look at this. We hit Apple long, goes all the way to the top side. There's that $3.50 winner. Now Apple's looking the same thing, guys, to break out the top here. 254, 254, 10 or so. Check these futures. We're now back above 2,600. Just want to bring this to your attention. Apple could break this high. Right now there is some consolidation here, so I do not mind it one way or the other, but I would prefer long now that the market, wow, is up 5%. Brendan, what you got for us?
Another little one, guys, moving back to the downside. VIR Biotech, they also announced this morning a collaboration to work on a COVID-19 vaccine. 38.5, we'll call it up here right off the open. We're now at 33, so just breaking 33. Some selling picking up in VIR to the downside. Still up 14% on the news, but looking like it wants to continue moving southbound, guys.
Yeah, and giving you a 34 even level that we just rolled over here and a break at 33.50. The actual low since the open, 32.14. So there's still a bit of room to break that. 29 was the previous close. So that would be your target, I guess, would be a full retracement, which it seems like it might do. All the way from 39. You can't be afraid sometimes to short near that bottom. At this point, now that we've consolidated a bit, I think if you want to short in front of 34 even, good look. A reversal through the long there is going to be a good look as well, maybe giving you $1 on a break. So I like either one of those off of 34 even. Let's see if we can't peg a short here at 33.50 or so, and then roll that one into a reverse long at 34. So I like this VIR. We're going to jump into this, throw some orders in. It's only $1 million in volume, but the moves have been rather big. So there's lots of opportunity on VIR.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't wait for this Microsoft to break. What is this bottom? 160.04. Okay, luck in here. I just want to bring everyone's attention. We are getting closer to that VWAP of 475. We are also near 470, so look for your boy to go long at that one eventually. MSFT right now, you're right at this level. I'd rather go long, but it's going to break short. 160.87 down to the short side there on a nice little break, and that's something to talk about if you do like the short. Again, it's such a strong name, Microsoft. It will follow this market, but look at here, we coming now down to the downside. I would love this short, but I'm going to stay away from it. I would rather build into a long. If we can get back in here, 160.20 and change, that would be fantastic. Actually, I'll start building it. Yeah, 160.40, 160.50. We're getting close to there. I'll build the long and use this little area of convergence here and consolidation to go long. So I'm going to wait for Microsoft. I love it if it breaks the top. We'll put some more shares on. We'll put a lot on if it breaks above 61.50, but for right now, I think a little small baby long is in order.
I think we're going to test that 118.50 here, that little entry point that I like in Zoom. It keeps on going to 60 and then turning around. But the futures have rolled over again at 2,600 on the ES. So, the importance of this level can't be overstated. But the bigger one is if we get above at 26.30, at least I think, certainly. So locked and loaded, ready to get this Zoom trade finally. I only have a couple of long positions, and I'll throw the board on so you can see what both of those are. We've been sitting for a while in this luck-in that we picked up at 459. I would love to be able to add, and this did not go on, so let's see if we can't make this work. We'll update it and see if we can't throw it on. Let's go, let's go. You know what? That's not working. There it is. Forget it. 459 long side on luck in. I want to add to it in front of 450. Either 450 breaks or we get a push up to VWAP. Sean mentioned 470. Not taking anything but maybe a third off for a small scalp and then holding the rest for that break of VWAP. And of course, Kodak still working that small long at 1030. The spread has opened up a little bit on that stock, and you can't let it break below 10 even. But if it doesn't really go at any time soon, it's going to be a boring trade. I might have to step away from that one and jump in when it makes an actual move. But here comes 118.50 on Zoom. Once that breaks, I'm going to get into a short on that. There we go. Slipped all the way to 118.30. So now we're in. Where's your target area? You do have this top, the lower high, at 120.30. That's going to be your out, at least for me anyways. You can work into more shares if you want on some pullbacks, but otherwise, we're now trying to work what could be a pullback trade. If the futures cannot break through and hold this 2,600, the market has a lot of room to fade here, Sean.
Yeah, to say the least. And yeah, don't worry, you'll hear me say Mr. Softy again. And we are going to wait to see a long on Mr. Softy here soon, but we have to wait for that to fade in. We have talked about that a little bit today. So Microsoft is that play. Also, Apple to the top side as well. Let's check back in Square. This is my biggest loser of the day, so I don't know why we're going to go back, but 47 and change. Look at this stock, man. It's just hovering here. Again, you want to talk about a range. This is pretty bad, 48 to 47.50. So a nice little 50-cent range here with the futures not doing much. We're going to stay away from that one. I finally get into Zoom as well off that 11.20 break. I just preferred that. Neil's got a better one here at 118.50. We're going to see if Zoom can't come all the way back down here to the downside. But we do have Zoom on board as well now to the short side as the ES starting to make a little bit of a move up. I wish I would have got some Microsoft in that middle range, but we didn't. I was trying to pick some up in the 60s, like I said, defending this little bottom, but we missed it. And now the future's going to the top side. So let's see what happens here.
There is somebody that just loves to sell 465 on Lucky. It's getting a little ridiculous, but you can see here on my level 2, this ARCA book, this is like the third time I've seen it reloading over and over and over again. And the amount of shares that's being sold at 465 is tremendous. So I might actually give up the ghost. I was waiting for maybe something in the 67 to 68 range to take a third off here, but I have to just give it an extra penny or so and take some of this off. But I still think once we break that, I want out after a VWAP break. So even though you have to take some of your position off here, which I think is prudent, you can still reload at 450. You can still hold some in case this guy goes and then re-ups maybe above that VWAP. There's just so much room to fill in this gap on Luckin that the risk to reward becomes too good and you jump into the long trade, which is what we're doing right now. So I will take some off for an 8-cent win. I will reload if it gets back to 450. Right now holding 455.5 to the long side, in the money 10 cents on Luckin.
Yeah, Luckin, again, I'm waiting for that 470 to break, but like Neil said, that may not be happening here as we get going. So Zoom, we'll take another little long, a short. We'll average in to this trade and looking to see if it breaks 119, obviously, to the top side. That'll be a trade for us to make if it's there. We haven't looked at Twitter yet today at all. Normally, that's a decent one for us to look at. Twitter today, it's not down 7%. Let's see. It's up 7%. So here we go. See, once again, guys, this market is not really too favorable for me right now. It's just kind of in this little range. We got to put off some of the risk on this market because it's not moving the way we had hoped it would. I do finally get long Starbucks 65.07 right now. We'll see if that can go. That is breaking outside of the range a little bit. Starbucks, that's the long 65.07. Biggest risk spot right there, guys.
Worst trader ever. I just accidentally took everything out of Codex. It finally broke upside.
Yes, thank God.
I was holding that 1030 break. Went to put in a trailing stop once it got above that 1040 mark to go from breaking down to 1010 or 10 even to a break-even stop at 1030 and accidentally punched out. So it's a winning trade, but we meant to hold on to that for this fantastic break. Sean, I hope you still have some of those longs on there. Brennan, what do you got?
WMC, guys, another one of those little real estate trusts moving today. Still up 12.5%, but obviously well off of the highs. Just noticed it was kind of holding this level, 162 to 160. There was a buyer that was, taking up some shares. Big gap to the upside today. No significant news, but this entire group doing quite nicely. Very positive on the day, guys.
Yeah, we hit the air horn here because here goes Starbucks. Great little long, 65.05, and booyah, we go bullish on that one. Quick little out into the 30s. Nice trade there. And yes, Neil, we have a 25-cent winner right now on Codex. We wait and punch that long. Might have punched you. What you said 1030. I hate making those keystroke errors. We're long 1036 right now. We'll see. We did get some out here. 50, 55. We'll see if Codex can get going through 1070 now. We're long Codex, 1037, 23 penny winner. Starbucks 20 penny winner to the top side, and CCL high of the day. So we go perfect on this one today. Only one trade, and there we go. Who knows what video game that's from? I keep asking it. 955 all the way to the top side. 1020. We may get out of this one as CCL for the win, baby. It's disco time. We've got everything long. Codex 30 cents in the money and still going. 1070, 1075 on Codex. There you go, Mike. We are sad because we don't have it the first time. We miss Atos, but we got Codex, boy. Let's go.
Have a quick look at work as well. Slack, we talked about 25 even. As we test the high on the ES, which is just above this 2605 mark, that 25 even is going to be key for Slack. It's rubbed up on this all morning long. It's a strong name. It bottomed out at 2250, so it's a 10% move from bottom to top. You'll see it only up 2.5%, but that sort of misconstrues the big move that it's already had so far. So I got a 25 break. We've had it in for a while. You have to watch out for that trade. We're still watching the seller. On this move up in the futures, you are still watching someone unload shares at 465 on Luckin. It is getting a little bit ridiculous. This is why we took a third off, because it is exactly the same thing as you saw 5 minutes ago. It has not moved. The seller keeps reloading over and over again, doing a tremendous amount of volume at this 465. If it breaks, you really got to love it. VIR, we finally jumped into a short. Remember, 34 is that key pivot price. Reverse long if it breaks 34 even. Look at the room, $1.50 break I think you have on VIR if it breaks 34 even.
Yeah, $1.50. Let's go update our positions right now and see what we're working with, guys. It's a banger right now, so we're not going to be too long. Starbucks right here. There it comes. Here comes mine. CCL, that's a big winner. You guys already know that. 70 cents in the money. Codex is 45 cents in the money. Starbucks, 35 cents in the money. And Zoom is now 12 cents in the money. So we'll wait on Zoom. Obviously, we want more than that, but our Starbucks, nice little out there as it does not crash through 65.50. We get some out. 65.43. What a great trade that was. Let's go Codex, now 50 cents. Let's go, Brendan.
Another one looking really positive here again today, guys. Etsy had a nice move back on Friday, I remember, off the open to the upside, but 43.50 was a nice little consolidation. Look at the buying coming in right now on Etsy. Huge move into day highs, guys.
Good look there, Brennan. And Slack finally takes out that 25 even mark. So we just got long 02s there on work. Been waiting forever on this trade for that break. You see the futures try to test through on the top side. So I now have 2 longs, 2 shorts, still working at that Luckin 455 and a half long, running into that seller at 465. That's in the money. Otherwise, we'd be looking to take some more profit off as we had that seller there. But here comes work. You wait all morning long for this break at 25. I think we can go ahead and scalp a little bit off here and hang on to the rest. In case it pulls back, I want to see if we can't add at 24.80 to 24.90. So this is why I think you want to take at least a little bit of profit off in front of this 25.25 and then see if you can't reload if it pulls back in, as the futures, again, still have to face that 26.30 area, which we think is going to be a big one. The Zoom short is basically at the money. It hasn't moved. If we don't break out through those highs, I like this one to the short side. Watch out for that 120-ish area to the upside. You don't want to have that break on you when we're testing the top in the futures. But here goes work. Waited all morning long for this one. We're finally getting it just scalped off 20 cents there. Disco ball action for that trade, and we're going to hang on to the rest. We can pull back to 80s. I'll add to this position. Otherwise, let's see if we can't make a big-time move through. You can see where this came from, failing at 30 bucks. I think it's on the march back towards that price. Maybe not this week, maybe next. Either way, we'll be playing this hopefully off of 25 for the next few days.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get work going top side there. We did get out of most of our Codex up here, 85, and then again 75, and then again 72 as we're noticing this coming back through. But look at this, guys. We've had this one, so you put the 2 thumbs there for this one. This has been... I got it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to wait to see here. Codex coming back down. We'll wait to see if it does fade through there. We did take out, again, 3/4 of our Starbucks trade. We'll wait to see if it's going to hold 65. But nice little trade to the top side there. Learning to get out of most of our profits there on Starbucks as that goes. So right now, just zoom to the short side. That's our big spot. Starbucks, Codex, I'm still moving, and CCL. What a great trade that was, guys. But we are ready for Brendan. What's up, Brendan?
Another one, guys, just breaking to day highs here. Children's Place. A nice look today, 22, almost 23%. A little bit of a reversal up there at 1750, we'll call it, but broke 17. Big time volume stepped up on PLCE as well, guys.
Okay, we'll add that one to the list. Why not? But the market booming to the top side, and that means, of course, that break in Slack is going to be fantastic. Luckin, this guy is still selling at 465, so you can pretty much forget about that one. Until it breaks 465, there's almost nothing to do in this name. We did take some profit off on that Slack trade when it tested up to 25.20, so we do still have half the position. I'd love to add in a pullback, but if it doesn't give it to you, that's fine. It just means it's going directly for you. It means the break is even better than you think. So we do have 2 longs, 2 shorts. One of those shorts in Zoom is basically not going anywhere, which gives me a little bit of extra confidence in this trade. I mean, if you're going to see a situation where we just took the top off in the futures, Zoom, which had been running to the upside and was very strong, is failing to make any kind of headway yet. But the key word is yet. As we march towards that 26.30, which is a massive, massive level on the ES, you want to make sure you're not holding shorts if that level goes and breaks to the upside. So alert to 26.30, 20 handles away on the ES.
Yeah, I do like that play. We are getting some averaged in positions here on Zoom. So we did take another little bit of a short there, waiting to see if it does break, of course, the top side of 119. It looks like it may, which is fine if that happens. We've got tons of winners on right now. Starbucks is along through 65. That's been a big hitter for us as well as we continue to go. Codex, look at CCL, guys. This just continues to go. You roll the dice on these cruise lines. Don't go on any of them. Just trade them. Up to 1040. Great little runner on this one. Look, 80-cent winner on a $9 name. Well, was $9. We're long at $9.56. So that's 10% right there on this name. So good little return there if you are looking for that. Codex still topside, man. We didn't get any out when it comes back down near 50. Let's see if this one can hold and even retest 1120 maybe today. That should be good. And unfortunately, there goes Zoom back above 119. So we get out of that one, which is ho-hum. We got a lot of big winners on, but there's another one. Zoom loser will hold the third and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a stall out just a little bit. We got to 26.10, just past that on the futures, and Slack looks like it wants to come back in, but not much of a pullback, unfortunately. I'd like to get a little bit more than this and maybe take some in the 24.90-ish range, but we're holding above 25 even for the time being. Zoom for me hasn't gotten to that 120 area yet, so we got 118.30 or so, 118.50 broke. We're going to hang on to those. You got to give it a little bit of room, I do think, on that trade. We did add one more position that I did not review, and that was VIR. Brendan brought this one to my attention. You saw this very, very tight consolidation at that 33.50, 34 mark. We jumped in at 33.50. You can see it stalling out here on the way back down. Couldn't get all the way back to that 32.50 bottom or higher low that it put in. So I might try to scalp this one for 50 cents. We do love the reverse at 34 even. That's a trade I like for twice as much risk as the short. We'll put that one on if it breaks 34 even. Otherwise, looking for a 50-cent win on this $33 name. Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, 10 minutes to go here, guys, before we get to lunchtime in the Eastern time zone. Some of the hotels looking a little bit weak. Just noticed MGM coming back up to $12 here, kind of stalling out a little bit. We'll try and flip over. Yeah, Red Rock Resorts, another one here, still up 16%, but also getting back to interesting levels from the pre-market that were resistant earlier in the day. So we'll see what happens with some of the hotels, guys.
Yeah, definitely a good look on some of the hotels. And another name which we've gotten away from, and I want to jump back to it just because I think there's going to be an opportunity in the afternoon on IMMU. It was a great trade in the morning, fantastic volatility, done 25 million shares, up 100%. But you can see what's happened to this in the last hour and a half or so. Very, very tight consolidation between 19 even, which has turned into a bit of a top, and then it's dipped one time below this 1850 mark and snapped right back. What I'm looking for is if it can take out that 19, you might see a run back up to VWAP, give you 50 cents to $1 worth of a trade. So I got that one locked and loaded and ready to go. But also watch out, if 1850 goes too, let's watch for a sell side move all the way to this 1770 bottom that we jumped off of in the futures or on the morning break. So let's see if we can't get this one to the long side at 19. Obviously, if the market wants to help us out, that's good, but I don't think this stock really cares too much. It's one of those high flyers. Let's see if we can't get a 19 break on IMMU.
Yeah, good call there. I'm going to probably get rid of CCL here as it tried once again to that high of the day, 1040, 1045. We still are long, of course, well in the money on this one. We did reload our Zoom short, so now we're back into the money big time now. We take just as many shares as we had. We take 118.94. So now back in the money, 50 cents on that one. So it's a cowbell for now for this trade, but we needed to break through 118 to make back initially what we lost on that one, and I still think we can get into the 117 area. So right now, man, CCL 80-cent winner. We have that one on. We're going to dump that if it comes back up to 40. Codex, we still have that on. That's a 35-cent winner. We're long right here, 1036. We've made back everything we lost on that one. Starbucks is a 16-penny winner. We have that one on right now off this $65 break, so that's looking good. And you see all these red indicators here. This is me just out. So looking good on Starbucks. I thought it would have ripped a lot more than this as we cracked through 2600. It did it. So let's see if Starbucks can't get back into this area here that we were in before this big move. So here we go. Starbucks hit the cash register finally, getting elevated up to VWAP here, 65.39. We'll see if we can't get out of some of that there. As CCL right back to day's high. Let's see if we get out, man. What a great day. You see the profits below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us on Twitter. We ain't going anywhere.
And finally, 465 breaks on Luckin. the battle was waged for like a half an hour at that price. It finally breaks. I'm going to jump into some more shares here, just build into this long. Again, you just see the tight bottom that it's making here. If we get above VWAP, this has a good shot to run. We still like that 450 as the absolute low here. That's where my stop is going to be. I might even add if it dips down to 55. That was my price before. We added on the 65 break there, so average price back to 460. I'm not taking anything off at this point until we break above that 470 in VWAP, so that's going to be the first target area. We think once we get through that price, good shot to test 5 even again, so you'll work out maybe in stair-step fashion all the way up into that range. We still have basically flat on Zoom. It just doesn't want to budge here, guys. So the futures have tested breaking 2600, but we didn't get to that 2630, and that's going to be that key level that we're working off of. And I think if we roll over, having failed to get there, a stock like Zoom, where you're short here on that 118.50 break, it never tested back to 120 yet, I think can get easily down to VWAP and lower, so this should be a good short position. I'll quickly go position board on so you can see everything that we're working with here. We just mentioned the Zoom short, 118.30, been hanging on to that one. Added to our luck-in position, so our average price now, 61s. Short that VIR, 33.50, looking for 50 cents to 80 maybe or so, but the 34 break, I want to go double long where we had short. And lastly, the second half of our slack position, that's a 25 even break. I want to add if it gets to 80, otherwise we're looking to see where that puppy can run for us.
VLO, Valero, yeah, so now you see a bunch of our different positions. I've had 271 fills here today. Okay, CCL, there's the slap shot. We get out at the high of the day. At that time was 42, so there we go. We are out of CCL. That's a dollar winner on a $9 name, so it's cash registers all over the place for CCL. Codex now basically at its day high again, 1090. We dumped a little bit there at 75. We'll wait to see if it can take out this 1090. I have no orders to get out of this one. Again, we are long right now, 1038. No orders to get out until we're up here at 1120. I don't know. There's a big buyer here. Look, if this fades all the way back down, so be it. We're trying to hit a home run on this one, and here it goes right now back to the downside. So we'll wait to see if this one can come back to 1090. My only out's going to be back into this range if we break back up down below 1025. So, we've done fine on every other stock. We'll wait to see if this home run Codex wants to go. But Starbucks back up to 36. We're now broken above this VWAP. So once again, all eyes on you, Starbucks. Oh, you know what? Do we have a Starbucks logo thing? No, we do not. But we do have a coffee one. If I can find that, we'll throw that on. Lemon squeezy. Here it is, coffee. And cheers to everybody drinking some coffee. That's a little bit of a faded Trader TV mug, but we make the money on Starbucks today. One of my top stocks. Thank you, Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm having a look at that AKER, as you mentioned here, modern investors there. Not a stock that I paid attention to yet, but up 90%, doing 17 million volume, and just taking out this this recent high of 325 to 330 or so. Yeah, it's on the run. 411 is the high of the day. For me, if you watch the show enough, you know I love to fade some of these. It's an obvious break at that opening range, top of 410, but if it can fail below that price, you'll see me slip into a short in front of that. But Brendan, what do you have for us? Just a few minutes to go.
Yeah, a name we were looking at earlier, guys. Just noticed this IMMU still up about 100% here, but getting really tight. Really tight consolidation below 19. Obviously, you can look to play that one either direction if it breaks to the downside or higher here. A little bit of resistance then. 1975 would be the next little level. Obviously, need some volume to come in to help push this higher. Do we guys want to go to what day it is now, or should we wait for a minute or two? Okay, yeah. Let's go over to Valeria and we'll check in to see what day it is today.
No. Hey guys, sorry. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you for all of your activity and likes. Hopefully we've been helpful and entertaining. We are live every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time. So guys, hit the subscribe button and you'll get notifications when we're back on air. And I sent you a link on the chat. Right after this video, hit the link and we'll continue to chat the noon and the close together and to trade, and to chat about everything. And I know you can't wait to know what national day is today, and today is the National Caramel Popcorn Day. Do you guys like more caramel or salted popcorn?
Caramel for me. I don't know what you guys think, but caramel popcorn is absolutely delicious. I can't get enough of it, but I try to stay away from it. Otherwise, you can eat just entirely too much in one sitting. But yeah, I'll go with caramel.
Better, I bet you can't just eat, I was going to say a whole bag, but maybe one or two. Yeah. No, definitely caramel. Always caramel.
Yeah, caramel, a little bit of cheddar, anything like that, chocolate too. They have some sort of mix at Costco. I forget what it's a Chicago mix. I forget what it's called, and I know exactly what it's called. So that's a good one as well, but thank you for that. We don't give that to our kids when they're looking to make some late night movies. They just have the butter or salt with a tad bit of butter. So shout out to my kids if you guys are watching there. They've been loving Avatar lately. What did they watch? Oh, How to Train Your Dragon as well. Shout out to Netflix, obviously crushing it these days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we just had a look in the chat here. Smile Direct Club here, Sean. Up 10%, almost 11 now with a big breakthrough 410. Look at that opening range breakout trade. We love that setup, and there it goes. Sometimes you get this trade a little bit earlier, but this one at 11.53 gives you the break at 410. You're seeing it continue to move to the upside right now. So Smile Direct firmly on the radar as we're running into the end of our program here. You can stick with us for the chat. Of course, we're going to be still trading. We're still going to be here with the markets. I got 4 positions on right now. You can still see them popping into the bottom, both mine and Sean. So follow along with us. We'll still be talking through some of our trade ideas here as I got long. Luckin still in the money here as it wants to take that 470, 460 long. I'm watching Smile Direct continue to make highs. I'd love for it to pull back to that 410. I'm just not sure it's going to happen, Sean.
No, it's not. It's definitely not going to happen. I don't think. Not anytime soon. This thing, when it gets going, can get going. Look at this Starbucks. We hammered it, and that's a banger right there. Glad a lot of you guys were able to have that with me as well. Breaking through 65. Look at our out. There's 2 outs up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's 2 little outs right at 65.50 there. Bang, 47 and 46 out right there. But yes, successful day. Thank you to everybody. The only position I have on still is this Codex long. So we'll wait to see if this one can be the dream maker that it wants to be. Codex long at 10:37. Thank you for your kind words. We love you too on the chat there. Keep joining us every 100%. Day as there's more changes coming, bigger and better things. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell all your friends. We're coming back, guys, tomorrow.
Absolutely. And Mr. Brendan Wickens, any final words before I wrap this puppy up?
Yeah, just saw on that SDC, guys, they're going to launch a teledentistry platform. So moving everything online, apparently. So a little bit of news on SDC possibly helping with that lift today.
And that is why Brendan is the man. He gets you that news when it is important, and make sure you don't trade blind. That's what it's all about here. We're trying to inform you. We're trying to give you some key levels, some good stocks to watch, and we're going to continue to do that day in, day out until they tell us we can't. So for the entire team here, Valeria, our chat maestra, as always, our good friend Sean Katina in order, doing our social distancing the best we can. Give a little wave there, Sean. Brendan Wickens at the desk, thank you very much. And as always, myself, Neil Roberts, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is tradertv.live. We'll see you tomorrow. You ever watch those shows when they do it in and they're doing it? Yeah, it's that weird shot.